All right, guys, welcome in. Hey, I have a pretty fun show lined up today. I hope you guys enjoy it on a Friday afternoon. We don't always do Friday shows, but when we do, we try to make them memorable. So we will. I thought I was going to have to go to the backup mic again today. I got to get this thing figured out. I had to get out the old Rode Go Wireless 2 mic, and then I thought the last guy who wore one of those, it didn't work out very well. So maybe I'll just keep working on the mic that tends to survive. So I am here with you. Everything I believe is working. If you have any trouble, let me know. I went with the slushy winter weather gray hoodie. This is what snow looks like after about 48 hours. It's slushy and gray on the side of the road. Yes. I'm going to go ahead and put this one up. Today's Wordle, I'm sorry if that was a spoiler alert, but it absolutely was. I got it in 3, ladies and gentlemen. I got it in 3. After my second guess, I thought, surely not. I had the middle 3, and I thought, surely not. Being vain, I checked it out, and sure enough, it was. I was like, hey, look at there. Guys, welcome in. We have, we're going to do a little, not cap and gown, but a little bit of a deep dive today, because the more let me pull this back a little bit. The deeper we get into the Charlie Kirk, particularly Erika Kirk saga, the more I feel like we need to take a giant step back, a giant look at an overall general structure to see how we got here. And I can't think of a better day to do that on a Friday before Snowmageddon. So we're going to do that. I also want to follow up with something Candace raised on her podcast when I was there. I'm not being vain by showing you a clip of when I was there. I promise. I would be following up on this no matter what, because she broke news, and I told her I had to sit with that for a couple of days when she broke the news. I have sat with it, and now I am going to weigh in and give you my thoughts. So that's number 2. Number 3 is I'm getting your emails and texts and messages about the merch. I promise the merch is coming. I promise. I just have to onboard, get my sister in, get her up and going, and then we can worry about all that stuff. You understand, this opening this morning took me, I didn't finish writing this till like 2 p.m. And I started at like 7:30 or 8 a.m. I mean, this was a long opening, lots of research. I had to pull lots of news articles and tax forms and everything else. This took a long time to write this. I don't have time to do all that and get a merch store up and running. So I've got to kind of balance everything for the next couple of weeks. After that, we'll get going. I'm explaining, so I'm losing. I said that last night. Don't explain, because then you're losing. How about this? I'll run hardest where I'm strongest. We got a great opening statement for you tonight. Great opening statement. But yes, if you had dark gray on the hoodie card, you won the bet. What else? I had one more thing I wanted to tell you, and I can't remember what it was. I'll come up with it. I'll figure it out. Sound is perfect, I hear. Great. So sound is perfect. I think I got the delay fixed when I replugged everything in. The blur I'm working on, I think I got it dialed in a little closer tonight. Trust me, guys, it's a top-notch operation. It's a very professional operation around these parts, and I'm going to get it down for you. Oh, and I appreciate everybody who clipped out my googly eyes last night and passed it all over X, making me look like a total psychopath out of context. As I was scrolling through X, I kept seeing my googly eyes clip going around. I thought, oh, man, I can't imagine. The people who don't know me, the people who don't watch this program, they don't understand the humor or the sentiments that we share here. And then they see that, and they probably think, well, I'll never tune into that. That guy's nuts. Well, they might be right on that part, but they should tune in anyway. All right, let me get to the opening statement, because I think it's pretty good. Took me long enough. I think it's a pretty fun little opening statement. So here we go. It's very informative. I will say this. It's a very informative opening statement, and it will give you the background that I think helps explain how we got here. So let me get into it. Again, story arc. This is a great night to put this in. So here is your opening statement. It's hard to believe it's been over 15 years since the Tea Party was a thing. But a thing it was. The Tea Party movement emerged in early 2009 as a grassroots conservative backlash against the policies of newly elected President Barack Obama. Obama ran as a moderate. They all do. But nearly immediately upon taking the oath of office, Obama launched a series of incredibly expensive spending proposals, including the economic stimulus package, the bank bailouts, the Affordable Care Act. Conservatives were aghast, and they began organizing en masse. The result was the Tea Party. The Tea Party drew its name from the Boston Tea Party of 1773. The movement positioned itself as a modern revolt against excessive government spending and taxation. Protests began on tax day rallies in April 2009. Mrs. Coleman and I attended one of those at the courthouse in West Palm Beach, Florida, near where we were living at the time. It was an absolute madhouse. The protests escalated to town hall disruptions during the summer healthcare debates and a major demonstration in Washington, D.C. that culminated on September 12th, 2009. The initial rallying cry of the Tea Party movement in 2009 is that they did not care what your social or political leanings were as long as you supported libertarian or conservative fiscal policies. By 2010, the Tea Party had influenced Republican primaries. Candidates who, at the time, were perceived as extremely conservative were able to trounce more moderate candidates who traditionally would have easily won Republican primaries. The result was a truly historic set of victories in the 2010 general elections. Republicans picked up 60 seats in the United States House of Representatives and 6 seats in the Senate. They captured the House with a commanding majority and put a tremendous dent in the Democratic advantage in the Senate. Public perceptions of the Tea Party, however, evolved rapidly. What started as a curiosity quickly turned into polarization. Internal polls in 2009 showed broad awareness of the Tea Party, but views were mixed. Most polls showed Americans remained largely neutral. By 2010, support for the Tea Party stabilized around 20% of the population in most polls. Some went as high as 30%. While support hovered in that range, negative opinions began to rise as the movement was associated with fiscal conservatism, conservative social issues, and general opposition to Barack Obama. A deep dive into the demographics of the polling results revealed Tea Party supporters predominantly were white, male, older than 45, married, very religiously active, and more educated and affluent than the average American. This profile contrasted sharply with college students, of whom 66% had voted for Barack Obama. As expected, college students' perceptions of the Tea Party largely were negative. Set against the backdrop of the Great Recession era that lasted from 2007 to 2010, college students rightly believed they were facing job scarcity post-graduation. As a result, it seemed logical that they might be opposed to the Tea Party's anti-government message of learn to swim or sink to the bottom of the ocean. Their perceptions were further colored by the movement's rapid politicization. A February 2010 CNN poll found the views of college students mostly were negative due to the Tea Party's opposition to stimulus measures that would have benefited college students in the form of education and youth employment. Poll after poll showed college students viewed the Tea Party as a fringe response to Obama's election laced with racial undertones. Students perceived the Tea Party movement as disconnected or in direct opposition to what mattered to them, which was rising tuition, student debt, and hopes for progressive change. After the 2010 election, the Tea Party was at its peak. It was being credited with the overwhelming and historic midterm successes up and down the ballot for Republicans in nearly every competitive race in America. But college student views towards the Tea Party actually somehow got even more negative. Polls showed anemic Tea Party support among 18 to 29-year-olds. Polling of the younger demographic cratered. Tea Party support for that demographic trended in the low teens or high single digits in some polls. The small minority of college Tea Party supporters did become very vocal. Campuses became battlegrounds. Supporters began organizing on-campus events, but they largely were met with indifference or even derision. Liberal groups organized counter-protests, framing Tea Party fiscal conservatism as harmful to young voters. Libertarian-leaning groups like Young Americans for Liberty hosted Tea Party speakers. They viewed the movement as anti-establishment. Campus Tea Party chapters formed at places like Liberty University, where students echoed fears of socialism. However, broader perceptions remain negative. The Tea Party's role in obstructing healthcare reform alienated college students and the youth more generally. Yet some students did engage positively to the message, even if they didn't respond favorably to the Tea Party brand. The next few years, however, were brutal for the Tea Party. From 2011 to 2012, internal divisions and electoral defeats crushed any momentum the Tea Party once had. Public support peaked at around 30% in May of 2012, but dropped to the low 20s by the time the general election rolled around in November of 2012. Among younger Americans, perceptions were disastrous. There's no other way to explain it. Being Tea Party was quite literally the opposite of being cool on a college campus. Newly organized events targeting college students and American youth generally reflected this. In 2011, there was a national Tea Party students conference in Phoenix, Arizona. It drew a couple thousand youth, but it was mostly filled with students from libertarian groups like Students for Liberty. Obama's election in 2012 underscored the broad societal rejection of the Tea Party, especially among the youth. Exit polls in that election showed nearly identical support for Barack Obama as he had in 2008. This is the broad context in which TPUSA was founded. In May of 2012, when the Tea Party was struggling mightily to take its message of fiscal conservatism and economic liberty to the American youth, an 18-year-old high school senior named Charlie Kirk opened a website called SOS Liberty. The website had a list of all the founders of SOS Liberty, all high school students, including self-described social liberals and conservatives. All of them had a single unifying principle. They believed in libertarian economic principles. This was straight out of the 2009-2010 Tea Party playbook. It was in that same month, May of 2012, the very same month that SOS Liberty launched its website, that two remarkable things happened in Charlie Kirk's life. The first was his very first appearance on Fox News. Charlie Kirk was still a high school senior. He had just launched a very small website, and Fox News was hosting him on air on their popular morning show, Fox and Friends. The other remarkable thing that happened was a speech Charlie Kirk gave at Benedictine University's Youth Government Day in Lisle, Illinois. The speech and event were so otherwise unremarkable that I am unable to find an exact date that speech happened. I can only find references to it online, and it's only referred to as happening in May of 2012. Legend has it, however, that the speech was so good that a 62-year-old man in the audience immediately approached Charlie after the speech and said, quote, "You can't go to college. I don't know you, but you need to start an organization to reach out to young people with your message," end quote. The irony, of course, is that Charlie Kirk had already done that. He had already started a youth organization to reach out to young people with his message. He had just founded SOS Liberty with some high school friends. Charlie Kirk was 18 years old at the time. Bill Montgomery, the man who said this to Charlie Kirk, was 44 years older than Charlie Kirk was. Bill Montgomery was a native of Lincoln, Nebraska. He had served in the United States Air Force Reserves and grew up in Peoria, Illinois. He's said to have run a restaurant in the Chicago area and dabbled in writing for small newspapers, but apart from that, almost nothing is known of Bill Montgomery's life. He's not exactly a ghost, but considering the impact he had on Charlie Kirk's life and the American political landscape, it's remarkable to me that nobody sat down with Bill Montgomery and documented who he was and how he ended up as a 62-year-old man on a college campus, luring an 18-year-old high school senior away from college and into a life of activist politics. However it happened, Charlie Kirk and Bill Montgomery then founded Turning Point USA the following month, June 5th, 2012. The original website, turningpointusa.net, is no longer active. You can find it on the Wayback Machine. The 990 forms they filed at the end of the first year showed that they raised a grand total of $78,000 during Turning Point's first year of operation. Not a bad haul for an 18-year-old, but certainly not enough to support Bill and Charlie as they traveled around the country, taking their message of libertarian economic principles to college students. The following year, they raised $440,000. In the fiscal year ending June 15, they raised over $2 million. After spending $1.4 million, they had a nice income of nearly $700,000. That haul more than doubled for the year ending June 2016, $4.3 million raised. Expenses of nearly $4 million. Turning Point, in just a few years, had accomplished what the Tea Party could not. They'd managed to put together an organization targeting college students with a message purely focused on economic liberty, and they were stacking donations by the millions. It's my firm belief that Charlie Kirk's SOS Liberty effort was rebranded as Turning Point USA to take advantage of the TP initials associated with the Tea Party. Branding as the Tea Party would have been disastrous if the goal was to reach college students. As I discussed earlier, the Tea Party was as popular with college students as a floater in a swimming pool. But the millionaire and billionaire donor class who wanted lower taxes and lower government spending to lessen the burden on their annual tax bills, they still supported the Tea Party when Turning Point was founded in 2012. Charlie was already running an organization exactly like Turning Point. SOS Liberty was a nonprofit aimed at college students. Its message was economic liberty. The rebrand to TPUSA in the literal days after meeting Bill Montgomery gives me strong reason to believe TPUSA was a brand in need of a public face. Charlie was that young public face. He'd been on Fox News. He was running a nearly identical effort. He was traveling and speaking to college students about economic liberty. It's my firm belief that Bill Montgomery didn't accidentally show up to Benedictine University's Youth Government Day in May of 2012 and just happened to be captivated by an 18-year-old Charlie Kirk. I believe he showed up precisely to see and then recruit Charlie Kirk. And that's an important part of the Charlie Kirk narrative for me. It's an important part of the lore of TPUSA. The initial 990 filing for TPUSA lists only 3 officers and directors: Charlie Kirk, Bill Montgomery, and a guy named George Hamstra. They remained the only 3 listed forms, the only 3 listed people on the 990 forms from TPUSA's founding in 2012 through the 990 filed for the fiscal year ending 2018. That filing shows revenues of nearly $11 million and expenses of nearly $11 million. So just to recap that, I know I kind of fuddled over the numbers there. There were 3 people: Bill Montgomery, George Hamstra, and Charlie Kirk. From their first filing in 2013 through 2018, they were the only 3 people on those filings. Every single time, only 3 people on those filings, 5 or 6 straight years of filings. And they took it. Those 3 people took the organization from $78,000 a year up to $2 million, up to $4 million, up to $11 million by 2018. The summer of 2018 is when they made that filing. That is the exact same moment, the summer of 2018. That's a very important summer in Charlie Kirk's life. That's the summer he met his future wife, the former Erika Frantzve. The following year, the year that began after he met Erika, the list of officers, directors, and key employees listed on TPUSA's Form 990 exploded. So too did the revenue and expenses. Bill Montgomery, Charlie Kirk, and George Hamstra all remained, but 7 others joined them on the Form 990 filings, including Doug DeGroot, Tom Sedika, Mike Miller, Tyler Boyer, Benjamin Johnson, Joshua Thafoe, and Stacey Sheridan. Revenues nearly tripled in that next year from $11 million to almost $29 million. Expenses followed, going from around $11 million to more than $25 million. The TPUSA, the startup nonprofit featuring the traveling duo of 18 to 24-year-old Charlie Kirk and 62 to 68-year-old Bill Montgomery, would never be the same. The 990 filing for the fiscal year ending June 2020 would be the last filing before the economic liberty message would be all but abandoned in favor of a message more resembling a traveling tent revival. Charlie Kirk, who grew to this point of his career sounding more like an Austrian economist than a backwoods Baptist preacher, would be transformed overnight into the public face of the Christian movement on college campuses around the country. For the next several years until his death this past September at the age of 31, revenues would continue to rise. So too would expenses. The organization that started with just 2 employees preaching a message of economic liberty would grow to more than 700 employees. Expenses would grow from tens of thousands per year to nearly 100 million per year. The organization would grow significantly more complex with multiple new nonprofits propping up under the TPUSA banner. It is at this point that Charlie started fielding calls from international heads of state. He was being hosted at fundraisers by billionaires, plural. It's not lost on me that the date Charlie Kirk met his future wife, Erika Frantzve, coincides precisely with TPUSA going from $11 million a year in fundraising to nearly $30 million the following year, or that his wedding date coincides with TPUSA going from $55 million per year in fundraising to more than $80 million the next year. We'll leave the speculation about why the first of the sudden surges in revenue and organizational growth happened after he met Erika Frantzve, and why the second surge in revenue and organizational growth happened after he married Erika Frantzve. But tonight, I just wanted to plot the coordinates. I wanted to lay the groundwork because it matters, especially in light of Erika Frantzve taking control of TPUSA after her husband was brutally murdered in broad daylight in Orem, Utah. It matters. And I want to go through some of this. That's your opening statement. I want to go through some of this because I think sometimes the visual helps. I don't want to bore you to tears with all this, but I do want to show you what I mean when I say that these numbers just skyrocketed. And when you see it, you'll see it. You'll absolutely see it. So let me open this. This is can be found on ProPublica. This is their nonprofit page where you can look up the finances of nonprofits. It's important to note, Tyler Boyer made a comment about this recently. This happened long before Tyler Boyer was around, and I think it's totally by accident and not for the reason he said, but I could be wrong on that. Their fiscal year ends in June of every year, meaning this filing you're looking at on your screen right here, this revenue of $78,890 for the fiscal year ending June 2013, I think it's wholly convenience because it was that they just started in June. So if they want to avoid filing a tax return 6 months later, they can just make the fiscal year the next summer. It's a lot easier that way. I don't think it has anything to do with semesters and all this kind of stuff. But you'll see here, the very first year, this is Bill Montgomery, random guy we know almost nothing about, and I've got a video of him. I'll play it in just a moment. Random guy approaches Charlie Kirk and says, "You and I are going on the road. Tell your parents it's not creepy." Well, guys, it sounds a little creepy, to be honest with you, but I'm willing to accept for now that it's not creepy. They go on the road the first 12 months. They make a grand total of $78,000. They only spend about 52 of it, and they have net income of about 26,000. This is a very simple operation. The next year, you get a little pop in revenue, they get a little pop in expenses, and they have a little income that's still floating around. This is a nonprofit, so you don't have to pay taxes on this income. You don't have to distribute this income. It just rolls over to be used in the next year should you want to use it. You'll notice the executive compensation is almost nothing, $3,500. Other salaries and wages, just $18,000. So these guys are living like, I don't know if they're eating, popcorn and ramen noodle. I don't know how they're surviving. The following year, this is June 2015. Again, keep this on a path here. 78,000, 440,000. Now they're raising $2 million. The thing about nonprofits is we don't get to see where this money's coming from. We don't get to see who gave the $2 million. We don't know, is this $5 and $10 at a time, people hitting the donation button on their website? Were people buying some sort of a membership to get emails from them or get messages from them where people showing up at events and paying it. We don't know where the money's coming from. You don't have to know. Or we don't know if some millionaire is like, I'll give you $2 million. But they, June 2015, $2 million. Again, still not like life-changing money when you've got two people and you've got expenses of $1.4 million. And they did hold a little back. And if you combine all this together, they've almost got $1 million in the bank, and they're bringing in $2 million in donations. So it's pretty for a nonprofit at this point, this is a very fiscally conservative nonprofit. Again, executive compensation, $13,000. Now, it looks like they had hired a few people by this point. $440,000 in salaries and wages. And then 2016 comes along. This is revenue through the Republican primary. June of 2016. And they pulled in $4 million, almost a little more than double what they did the year before. Their expenses were almost $4 million, a little bit of net income there, and they've banked it, so now they're $1.3 million. So you're beginning to see this is a very smartly run organization. I will give Bill Montgomery and Charlie Kirk that, and George Hamstra. This is a very smartly run organization. They're not overextending themselves. They're not spending every dollar that comes in. They're squirreling money away for a rainy day. They're not paying themselves a tremendous amount of money. I think Charlie Kirk and I think if you pull the numbers here, and I pulled it earlier, I think they paid themselves like $26,000 or $28,000 each. It was very little compensation for them. And they did hire a bunch of other people. These were people knocking on doors and all that kind of stuff. And helping to host events. 2017, up to $8 million. Again, doubled from 4, doubled from 2. Do you see the pattern here? We give you a little bit of money. We see we can trust you with it. We give you a little more money. They take in 8, they spend 8. This covered the 2016 election and the 6 months after the 2016 election. Executive compensation kicked up a little bit. Bill and Charlie paid themselves a little more. The salaries kicked up a little bit. They had some more people on the payroll helping them out. But again, nothing crazy. You wouldn't look at this and say that's ludicrous for a nonprofit that's been in operation for a few years. And this is the last one that you'll see before he meets Erika Frantzve. This is up to $11 million. So the doubling every year has stopped. But they did add $3.5 million or $2.5 million in contributions over and above the previous year. And they upped their expenses a little bit, but they still had over $1 million in the bank by the end of the year. They upped how much they paid themselves a little bit, and they added some additional salary and staff. And they had some other travel expenses. This is the last. This is still, I know this is going to shock you because $11 million is a lot of money. But 11 in, 11 out leaves you, as it says here, net income negative. And they're only paying themselves about $80,000 a year, which again, this is 7, 8 years ago. But it's not particularly egregious. But watch what happens. This is the moment he meets Erika Frantzve. I think it's a month or two after this tax return is filed, after this tax return closes, after fiscal year 2018. And keep in mind, the only 3 people listed on the officers, directors, and key employees, the only 3 people listed as of this return right here, I'll show you. I'll show you right here. So you don't have to take my word for it. The only 3 people listed, Bill Montgomery, Charlie Kirk, George Hamstra. That's it. Charlie and Bill paid themselves about $80,000 a year. That's a pretty good living for Charlie Kirk, who's like 21 years old at the time, 22 maybe. That's a pretty good living for a 22-year-old. I don't know a lot of 22-year-olds making $80,000. Now watch what happens the next year. They go from $11 million. He meets Erika Frantzve. We're at $28 million the next year. I mean, we didn't just double. We almost tripled. And we were already in the 8-figure range. Now let's look at the filing. Not only did they triple, look what happened to their officers, directors, and key employees. No longer is it just Bill Montgomery, George Hamstra, and Charlie Kirk. We've added Mike Miller, Tom Sedeka, Tyler Boyer, Benjamin Johnson, Joshua Defoe, Stacey Sheridan, Doug DeGroot. We've added a lot of people here. And we've added a lot of salary. Now all of a sudden he's making 300 grand a year. He made 80 the year before that. Now Tyler Boyer's making 80. He didn't even work there the year before that. Joshua Stefoe making 140. Stacey Sheridan making 180. Bill Montgomery still around 80. So this is a fundamental difference in how TPUSA is being operated. And it's not lost on me. It is certainly not lost on me that this near tripling in revenue, this near tripling in expenses, 2.5 times increase in expenses and tripling in revenue, and all this additional key staff comes in when Erika Kirk enters the picture. Remember, she came by supposedly to interview. That was the story we've all been fed. I don't believe it. I think it was a setup from the beginning. That's just my opinion. But she supposedly came in just to interview. Charlie was so captivated by her, he thought, I'd rather date you instead. Why don't we go to dinner at the burger joint or wherever they went up? It's a totally different organization. And again, I'm confident that a lot of these people were known to her prior. I can't prove that off the top of my head right now. I don't have the connections available to pull up. But I know in 2015, I'm pretty confident, wasn't Erika Kirk at an event with Tyler Boyer in 2015? It was 3 years before this. She shows up, Tyler shows up, everything's starting to skyrocket. We're still preaching, again, if you go back and look at old videos of TPUSA, if you go back and look at old speeches of Charlie Kirk, things he wrote, things he said, it's still 100% about economic liberty at this point. There is really no religious angle. I know that's hard to believe because Charlie Kirk is known as a modern-day prophet. He's known and he's well-loved as somebody who preached Jesus and Christ crucified every time he turned around. That is the last few years of his life. That was not the message in 2018 and 2019. It was a message of economic liberty. You can go back to their website. You can go back to the Wayback Machine. You could get on YouTube and look at old videos, look at old speeches. But they met in the summer of 2018. Right after this was filed. Right after that was filed, they met, and then this happened. And they added all these key employees making 6 figures. The next year, it goes up to $40 million. This is the last filing before they get married. And after they get married, TPUSA is never the same again. You can go back and look at the filing. You can see the long list of key employees. You can see the salaries are starting to pop up a little bit here. And this is when, right after this filing, June of 2020, this is when all of a sudden TPUSA takes a decidedly religious turn. And at the moment they take this decidedly religious turn, they were committed. They were absolutely committed. It was really between these two filings, 2020 and 2021. After this filing, they start TPUSA Faith. So you'll notice this was kind of flat here. 2020, 40 million. 2021, 55 million. I say flat. I mean, it's $15 million. But what's $15 million among a bunch of billionaire friends? They go to TPUSA Faith route. They start doing this, and all of a sudden the money really starts flowing in. $80 million worth of donations, $72 million worth of expenses, $9 million of profit. You go to this filing here, and this is just this one organization, keep in mind. Other organizations would begin to pop up, but I'm keeping it simple tonight. You go to this one, now Charlie Kirk's almost at $300,000. He's making $98,000 from another organization. So now he's up to $400,000 as a guy in his very early 20s, mid-20s, running a nonprofit that has been just totally inundated with all these people that were not around from the beginning. Tyler Boyer, he was making 80 last year. Now he's making 250 between organizations. 182 at TPUSA and 70 from another related organization. Justin Olson has now shown up. He wasn't there on the last one. Now he's making $150,000. Defoe is up to $441,000. Benjamin Johnson, who was barely making anything last time, is now $160,000. Alex Clark is up over $120,000. She wasn't on the last one. And so you start to get this scope creep. You're getting these new people around, surrounding Charlie, taking on more and more salary, taking on more and more roles and responsibilities. By the time the year-end 2023 comes around, they've taken in $82 million. Now they've spent $92 million. So you remember the net assets over here. They built the TPUSA coffers up to $23 million. Like a 10-year-old with a $5 bill in his pocket, they couldn't hold on to it. They had to go out and overspend by $10 million and draw that down. Well, what were they spending it on? Just guess. There's a lot of money being spent here. Charlie Kirk, now he's up again, $400,000. Justin Olson's gone from $150 to $210. That's a big raise. Have you ever gotten a $60,000 raise in a year? Second year working somewhere? Veronica Peterson is now up to $140. I think she was like at $20 last year. Dan Flood. You know Dan Flood? Baseball signal guy? Dan Flood shows up. He's at $260 his first year here. Marina Minas. I think she's the marketing person. She's at $200,000. Alex Clark is now at $160. John McGovern. I think he's still around. He's at $223. Tyler Boyer is up at $230. There's a lot of money rolling through this place. This is a nonprofit. They don't pay taxes. You pay taxes. The business you're working for likely pays taxes. These guys don't pay taxes. Well, they pay taxes on their individual income, but the business doesn't pay taxes. That giant number here, this net assets, that's untaxed money that they get to draw down on and spend. And I'm going to point out something else when we go to our next story about where some of this money is spent. You'll be shocked because I'll show you something from one particular day and you go, oh, now I see how they blow through $92 million in a year. Again, 2024. We've looked at this before. You come down here. Key employees. Charlie Kirk, still near 400,000. Justin Olson, still near 250. Dan Flood up to 310, 320. Actually, maybe 330. Marina Minas, she's up to 232. Alex Clark, 164. Hutz Hertzberg, 265. I don't even know what that guy is. What's a Hutz? What does that name even mean? Hutz Hertzberg. What's he do for a living? He's the chief education officer at TPUSA Academy, according to this. That's a lot of money. It's a lot of money for a nonprofit. John McGovern, $455,000, $456,000 of nonprofit money. And we haven't seen the next ones. And the reason I go through all this is I now want to go back and I want to play a video of Bill Montgomery talking about when he met Charlie Kirk. I've played this video before on this program, but we got a lot of new people since then. I want to play this video, and I want you to hear Bill Montgomery describe how he met Charlie Kirk.
What you guys don't know is this is Bill Montgomery. You guys know Turning Point? I know you guys know Turning Point. They're doing remarkable work out there in the campuses. This guy is the co-founder. Co-founder, right?
Co-founder.
Wow. So
I met him when he was 18 years old.
With Charlie?
Charlie.
Yeah.
He was speaking at Benedictine University, and there was a demonstration put on by the former Attorney General of Illinois to demonstrate to 400 high school students the difference between Tea Party people and Occupy Wall Street people. And what was interesting, they put on mock demonstrations, had 3 speakers from each group speak, and really interesting, the kids were bored silly. So as the 7th speaker was walking up to the podium, I looked at the clock and I said, I hope it isn't going to be a long speech. I turned around and I watched 400 kids going from falling to sleep to wide awake. And so afterwards, I looked at the clock, not afterwards, but I looked at the clock and it was only about 20 seconds it took for him to make these kids wide awake. I was so impressed with his message and the way he did it that I went down to him afterwards and I said, Charlie Kirk, you don't know me, but you can't go to college. He was 18 years old. He was going to go to Baylor. I said, you've got to start an organization to reach out to young people in this country.
Yep.
And for the next 2.5 years, he and I traveled all over the country. And because he was 18, couldn't rent a car, couldn't get into a hotel.
Yeah.
And after 2.5 years, my wife said to me, well, I got my husband back. But it was the most fun and exciting time of my life to know that this country was going to be saved.
Well, what's exciting too about Turning Point is that, I'm local. I'm a local guy, Chicago guy, and you guys started in Lamont. So I have family ties in Lamont. So, and to know the impact you're having is a testimony to the impact that you guys started in a small house, and
No,
now
a two-car garage.
two-car garage.
Right.
That's the American. That's
Right.
the American story. You have a dream, you get something done, and now you guys are reaching millions and millions of people, and you're having a massive impact on the youth of America, and that's what matters. And we just saw the president speak. It was an amazing speech. So much to digest. I'm still trying to process it all, but there will be more. So.
There will be. It's an exciting time, and we are going to turn Illinois red.
Amen. You heard it.
Guys, that I have seen that video so many times, and every single time I see it, I learn something new and get more creeped out. I learned something new and get more creeped out. The first thing was he identified the problem the Tea Party was having. This is why I did my opening the way I did. The problem the Tea Party was having was when you went to college campuses and you had adults preaching to college kids about fiscal responsibility, they fall asleep. It's not a sexy message. And I think Turning Point even figured that out over time. Their crowds were pretty neat. If you go back and watch some of the early Prove Me Wrong 10 episodes or whatever, Charlie speaking on campuses, he's speaking to groups of 10 to 50, maybe 100 people. I mean, sometimes there would be a bigger crowd for whatever reason, but by and large, it was not a very big operation. I mean, it was a lot of money being spent, but they were just traveling around talking to small groups. There were not massive groups of people. And this is not unusual for nonprofits that target college kids. It's hard to get college kids to turn out in the afternoon. I mean, they've got class, they've got extracurricular activities. They want to go drink a few Miller Lights. And they want to take a nap. It's not unusual, especially if you get out there and say, let me talk to you about supply side economics. Let me tell you why Reagan was right to cut taxes in the mid 80s. I mean, oh yeah, I'm really awake now, Charlie. Feed me. Ah, I'm like a bird. But I want to go back because he acts like there was no SOS Liberty. He acts like Charlie Kirk did not already have an organization in place. I'm going to show you an article written in May of 2012. This is the same month when Bill Montgomery met Charlie Kirk. This is a generational issue. May 19, 2012, local high schoolers say activist group is gaining steam. Well, this is interesting. They're gaining steam. It was the same month they founded it. Actually, I think they founded SOS Liberty in April of 2012. By May of 2012, they opened the website. I'll show you the website in just a second. And then that same month, 1 month after he founds SOS Liberty, Bill Montgomery makes an approach. Now, let me draw this down for a second. I got to talk to you parents out there. Parents. If a man in his 60s approaches your child and says, I want you to travel with me in hotel rooms for the next couple years, I know you don't know me. Say no. Say no. Send your kid to college, send him out into the workforce. Whatever your kid was going to do after high school, don't let him go on the road with a 62-year-old man. Don't let him do it. I don't think it'll end well. It did not end well for Charlie. Especially a 62-year-old that we have that supposedly co-founded one of the most important youth organizations in the history of this country, and we know almost nothing about his life. We kind of know that he sort of maybe ran a restaurant in the Chicago area for a little while, and he penned some op-eds or wrote some pieces for some community newspapers here and there. And he worked in marketing. That's what pimps do. I'm not saying he was a pimp. I'm not saying he was a pimp. But if you ask what a pimp does, they're going to give you a couple of side gigs and say, oh, I'm in consulting. I'm in marketing. Let me go back to this article because I think it's important. There's an Easter egg here if certain people are watching. I don't know if they're going to catch it. I can't tell the rest of you what it is. But there is an Easter egg in this article. Certain people will find it. This article is about Charlie Kirk and Mike Diamond. Charlie Kirk and Mike Diamond. They were alarmed by the way politicians in Washington on both sides of the aisle were handling the country's fiscal spending and debt. So Charlie Kirk from Wheeling High School senior, Mike Diamond, a senior at Buffalo Grove High School, decided to start a student activist group, SOS Liberty. Really, we started out as kind of a distress call for our generation because of the debt we were going to inherit, Charlie Kirk said, referring to the national debt. That is how it started. So this is an important article in the lore of Charlie Kirk. A very important article in the lore of Charlie Kirk. Now, I want to show you the SOS Liberty website. You will not be impressed. You will wonder why anybody thought to invite Charlie to speak if they looked at the website. Now, granted, this is 2012. People were still using like GeoCities, I think. And this kind of looks like a GeoCities website. This is on the Wayback Machine because it's no longer here anymore. This is SOS Liberty. This is Charlie Kirk's website. The very first capture I could find, May of 2012. SOS Liberty, Students for Fiscal Responsibility. That does not spell SOS. That's SFS, SFR, but that's okay, Charlie. We're not going to hold it against you. Yeah, I mean, it could have been like students ostracized by sound fiscal policy. I don't know. So who are they? There are people here. There are people here. We have names of who was associated with SOS Liberty. Charlie Kirk, Mike Diamond. Those are the people we just saw in that article. Duncan Miller, Artur Sack, Maria Krutikova, Alexander Lensmeyer, Kelly McFarland. If you click on these names, and I have, each of them has a little bio. Maria Krutikova, for example, was a legal, she says in her thing, Russian immigrant. We have people who are of Polish descent who came in, and all these people just wanted economic liberty. Somehow, they had a video, a professional video up and running in May of 2012. The problem is I can't find it on YouTube, and if you click this, it shorts the whole system out. Trust me, it won't play. I've tried. It wasn't archived by the Wayback Machine. But you can go to pictures, you can go to videos, you can go to endorsements. Congressman Joe Walsh endorsed the SOS Liberty. Congressman Joe Walsh was a one-term congressman from the Chicagoland area. He has since decided he was going to run against President Trump in the 2020 Republican presidential primary. I don't think he did very well. And then after that, he became a Democrat. He left the Republican Party and became a Democrat. That's Congressman Joe Walsh. That's the endorsement of this SOS Liberty. I haven't clicked videos, so we'll see what happens when we click videos. I don't know if that video is going to show up. Check out our videos here. Let's see if that was archived. I don't think they archived too deeply on this very lightly trotted. Yeah, see, no, it's not. And if you click it, it doesn't show up. I don't think. No, see, yeah, it doesn't show up. So I don't know what this 52-second video was, but it looked pretty professional from the first frame. But that was the SOS Liberty website. Yes, I think a lot of you have astutely figured out SOS Liberty sounds a lot like USS Liberty. I noticed that myself. I didn't bring it up. But I see that in the comments. People are figuring that out. That's not the Easter egg, by the way. That's not the Easter egg I was looking for. The Easter egg was with Mike Diamond. I won't go farther than that. If anyone knows what I'm getting at and wants to determine whether there's any follow-up that should be done there, let me know. But I bring all this up in the context of how it ended for Charlie. How it ended for Charlie. Because this was his first big splash in mainstream media. He gets on Fox News. By the time he's 21 years old, The Atlantic is doing a feature piece on him. There was a time, no longer, but there was a time when The Atlantic was like my guilty pleasure, my guilty liberal pleasure, because the writing used to be superb. And I had a membership to The Atlantic, and I would read the articles, and I didn't agree with all of them, but I did like their style of writing. I'm a fan of the written word. This was back from that era, and this is actually a pretty well-written piece. But this is the 21-year-old becoming a major player in conservative politics. Backers swear he's the future of conservative. Who are these backers? His backers swear he's the future of conservative politics. He's only just old enough to drink. This was from March of 2015. And it goes and it recounts the time the 62-year-old Bill Montgomery approaches 18-year-old Charlie Kirk and says, don't go to college. Instead, hit the road with me and we'll share hotel rooms. I don't like talking about the dead. Bill Montgomery passed away during the COVID era, so I feel bad talking about him. But it's a little creepy. The whole story's a little creepy. A month after he met Kirk, the duo launched Turning Point USA. Kirk is smart, not just for his age. He understands policy, tussling with fellow Fox News panelists, John Boehner's lawsuit against President Obama, the perils of Obamacare. I mean, this is just a fawning piece. And if you go back and look, like the first month Charlie Kirk was on Fox News, he was on Fox News like 7 times. That's not something that just accidentally happens. So I raise all of this. I'm not here to tie this in a bow. This is one of those shows where I'm raising these issues and saying, guys, we need to know more about this. We need to know more about what's going on, the early phases. There were some names there of people who were around Charlie Kirk that thought they were forming an organization. These are his day ones. And as soon as he meets Bill Montgomery, they're gone, and he and Bill are on the road. Has anyone talked to any of these people? I looked them up. I know exactly where they live. I have phone numbers and addresses for all of them. I've not reached out to them. I don't know if anyone else has reached out to them. I'd be curious what they have to say. I'd be very curious what they have to say. Very curious what they have to say. Particularly that Diamond kid. Did he feel cut out, or was he on board with Charlie Kirk shutting down the organization the two of them had just founded the month before so that he could go on the road with a 62-year-old man? And Mike Diamond's not related to Jamie Dimon. I see you guys saying that. I can assure you that. They spelled differently. They're spelled differently. Okay, now I want to switch gears here. I want to switch gears, and I want to show you something that Candace Owens brought up when I was on the air with her. And I am not doing this to be vain, people. I know people like to bang on people that show videos of themselves on their own show. I'm not doing it to be vain. I assume you guys either watch this or don't plan to watch it, so I'm not like advertising for myself. Boy, that is a good picture of me if I do say so myself. I kid. Boy, I make an Adidas hoodie look good. I'm just kidding. Look how that cut falls flawlessly just on the edge of the shoulder where it's supposed to. I want you to listen to what she said, and I've done a little research, and I'm ready to talk about it. I wasn't ready to talk about it that night, but I am ready to talk about it now. Listen to what Candace has to say, particularly about the timing of the plane's landing on September 10th, the day Charlie Kirk was neutralized.
Yeah, but the number one thing that I think about, this is actually number one. Andrew Kolvet, because I had no idea that he would be engaged in this cover-up and lying after Charlie's assassination. And I obviously was like openly crying on the phone with him in the aftermath. And he painted a vivid picture for me in that immediate 48 hours. We were on the phone. And he told me about how when he flew, while he was on the plane flying, he had so much anxiety, and it was pent up because, like, everyone was messaging him while he's on the plane, and he doesn't know whether or not Charlie was okay or whatever. And then he said that anxiety, he said, as soon as the plane landed, I got off of the plane and ran into Erika's arms on the tarmac and boohoo cried. He said, like, basically, like, like, fell into her arms and cried because he was had so much anxiety. Their planes landed an hour apart.
Hmm.
So I just thought it was interesting that she waited to go to the hospital, because I mean, who could say, I think we can say what we would do. We'd probably go right to the
You wouldn't
hospital.
wait.
And, she did tell me that she found out Charlie was dead before they took off in Arizona. And I think about that a lot. Like, why wait an hour on the tarmac? And then, despite waiting for him to land, they then went into different entries into the hospital. Erika went through the back and Andrew went through the front. So there's a lot there that doesn't make sense to me. But the hour waiting on the tarmac bothers me, because you are with other people. You should get to the hospital as fast as possible. And why are we waiting for Andrew Kolvet?
I really got to sit with that.
Yeah.
And sit with it I have. And sit with it I have. I can assure you I don't have the pot belly that it looks like I have right there. I hate her chairs. I will never sit in that chair again, ladies and gentlemen. I kid. Man, she was a gracious host. That was like a top 10 moment all time for me. I'll be honest with you. I've had a lot of cool experiences in my life. Very cool experiences. That was one of the top 10 cool experiences for me in my entire life. But I had to sit with that. I had to sit with the idea that these planes landed an hour apart, but they were still there together. And so now I've sat with it and I'm ready to talk about it. And so I'm going to show you the timing here. I'm going to show you the timing. This is the actual plane records, and then I'll show up I'll pull up a neater one. Ready? So this is Erika's plane, this N102DZ. I think this is the plane Charlie flew into Salt Lake City. So it starts at Salt Lake City. It leaves Salt Lake City and goes to Scottsdale, picks her up. It lands at 1:13 Scottsdale time. It then flies to Provo and lands at 3:31 Provo time. That's an important number. Keep that in mind. 3:31 Provo time, the Erika Kirk plane is on the ground at the FBO in Provo, Utah. This, I believe, I'm almost confident, I would put money on it, that this is the Andrew Kolvet plane, this RGY 872. This plane lands at 4:36, an hour, 5 minutes later. Have you ever sat somewhere for an hour and 5 minutes? It's a long time. We haven't even been on the air but 58 minutes right now. If I just sat here in silence for another 7 minutes, we have 20,000 plus people on right now. That number would drop to 8. That number dropped to 8 total people. It'd be like my mom, my sister, maybe my wife and kids if they're watching in the other. Everyone would leave if I just sat here like this for 7 solid minutes. That's just 7 minutes. They were there for an hour. She was there for an hour 5, according to Candace's source. Her source being Andrew Kolvet, which I think is a pretty good source. Now, I'll bring up this other plane, this N40JD, in just a second. I'm not ready to talk about that yet. But I sat there and I wondered, what is going on with this hour and 5 minutes? Let me show you. I have a little easier version to read here because I've converted everything to Utah time. So you can see now when I do this, you can see the Utah times. Let me make it a little bigger. Let me make it maybe 125. Is that better? Can you see that a little better? I think 150 is going to spill over. Nope, it's perfect. Okay. I've now converted this to Scottsdale time. To Utah time, excuse me. So here's this mystery plane that takes off at 1:27 from Scottsdale at 1:27 Scottsdale time. 1:27 Utah time. I'll get it right at some point. Bear with me. This is a private plane, N40JD, took off from Scottsdale at 1:27 Utah time. And the reason I converted to Utah time is it's easier to do the math back to the Big Bang. The Big Bang was at 12:23. So an hour, 4 minutes after the Big Bang in Orem, Utah. that took Charlie Kirk down. An hour, 4 minutes later, somebody leaves Scottsdale and comes to Provo. I don't know who that is. Someone probably knows. It's probably well known. It's probably, I don't know. It's probably an easy explanation, but I just, for the life of me, can't think of who it was. Was it Tyler Boyer? Was it? I don't know. I just don't know off the top of my head who it was. But somebody left Scottsdale about an hour after Charlie Kirk's Big Bang moment in Orem, Utah, and headed to the event. This, I'm pretty confident, is Erika Kirk. She takes off 2 hours after the Big Bang. 2 hours and 8 minutes after the Big Bang, she takes off. And she shows up 3 hours after the Big Bang. Now, she said she knew Charlie Kirk had passed away when she took off. That makes sense. I think most of us knew about that time. But she shows up at 4:31. While she's in the air getting ready to land, making her approach, Andrew Kolvet, and I believe Mrs. Kolvet also was on that plane. They take off, and they're in the air for an hour and 17 minutes. And apparently, according to Candace's source, who was Andrew, he was going crazy on the plane because he could be of no help. He was at 30,000 plus feet. He was flying in from beautiful, luxurious Santa Barbara, where he resides with the probably lovely Mrs. Kolvet. I don't know her. I've never seen her. I don't know her name. I don't particularly care. But they land at 4:36. And apparently at 4:36, an hour and 5 minutes after Miss Erika Kirk lands, he spills into her arms and just sobs and weeps. Now, this N-102DZ plane, this is the Gulfstream 5 that is used so much by Ms. Kirk, or was at the time, or was in the aftermath. This is the plane she took it to Nashville, for example, to meet with Candace. It leaves after landing in Provo. It leaves and goes to Camarillo, California, and I believe that is picking up, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that is picking up Rob McCoy. But I could be wrong about that. But I'm pretty sure that's the Rob McCoy plane. But I've left it blank because I don't know. I don't know. But then it lands in Provo at 7:32. One of the things I like to point out about this is that right there, these flights, this is not unusual for them either. If you look at any of the events they go to, there's multiple private planes coming in from all. That right there could be anywhere from $50,000 to $100,000 worth of planes. And you wonder how they're able to spend $90, $92, $95 million a year. This is a lot of private planing. And these are not cheap private planes. This N-102DZ is one of the most expensive private planes you can fly. This is a Gulfstream 5. It's a very luxurious plane. If you go get a quote, it could be upwards of $12,000, $15,000 an hour. Then you got repositioning fees. You've got to pay fuel. You've got to, it adds up quickly. Now, granted, in this situation, no expense spared. You get to your husband as quickly as possible. But this is a lot of money being spent on these private planes, and they're just flying around all over the place on these things. If my friend died, I would head to the Nashville airport, and I would get a ticket. I might get a one-way ticket, and it might cost $1,200 because it's a one-way ticket, and I don't know when I'm coming back. Am I coming back that night? Am I coming back the next day? Am I going to be there a few days? Are we going somewhere from Provo, Utah, that I have to then buy another one-way ticket to get there? Or are we going to rent a car? I'm not dropping $20,000 on a flight just to get there a couple hours earlier. That's just not my style. But I'm not running a gigantic nonprofit either. But I would say this, if I was running a gigantic nonprofit, I would probably try to find the cheapest flight I could find. I'd probably try to find the cheapest. So I give Erika a pass. All these other people I give no pass to. You flew a very expensive way to get there. It's just a fortune it cost you to get there. And I'm not giving them the pass on that. I'm just not going to give them the pass on that. All right. We have Snowmageddon coming in, and I promised my wife I would help tonight bring wood into the garage to keep it dry and move cars around, help go gas up all the cars in case we've already run out of gas all over Nashville. So I am going to jump into the supers and keep it kind of short tonight. It is Friday night. I'm sure some of you guys have plans, and if you don't have plans, then there are a lot of other shows that come on Friday nights. You can go watch those. But I want to get through some of these super chats, and because this is honestly just about as much fun as you can have online is interacting with the folks. Barron was in the New York Times today. You had to search a bit to find it, though. I was in the New York Times? I'll have to look that up. Was I really? Barron Coleman, New York Times. I don't believe that's true. I think he's just saying. Are you talking about Barron Trump? I see no Barron Coleman in the New York Times. I just don't believe that's true, sir. I've been in the New York Times. I think I was first in the New York Times back in like 2010, 2011. But I'm not in the, I don't see it today. Anyway, I believe you, Gary. I think you're talking about another Baron. Baron, your impersonation of Erika Kirk's eye spasms are epic. Watching you, Candace, and Coach feels like hanging with old friends, serving up some truth with a side of hot tea. Going Max. I watched Coach today live at his 9 o'clock show. Threw him a little super chat for his time. He is so entertaining. I had such a good time watching that. And I recognized a lot of you commenters because you guys also watch this program. So it felt a little bit like home. It felt a little bit like watching this show and interacting in the chat. So I enjoyed that. I did enjoy that. I was not able to watch the entire show because I had to, keep breaking to work on my show for tonight. But I was able to watch quite a bit of it. Many sus people: security, audio, UVU, TPUSA, EK, Mikey, paving company, SUV rental company, hospital coroner, mortician, feds, police, military, AES, Philadelphia, TR, Lance, pastors, Hibbs, Hunter, Moore. Someone has to squeal or slip. That is a great point, but I will warn you, just because a lot of people are in on a conspiracy does not mean the conspiracy won't hold. It means it's less likely to hold, but it doesn't mean it must hold. That is not axiomatic that the more people you add to a conspiracy, it necessarily at some point will bust. But I agree with you. Like the paving company, totally suspicious. And anybody at that paving company could reach out to me by email, find my phone number, call me. I'll talk to you. The rental company, the rental car company, call me. Love to chat with you. Love to chat with you. The mortician who made the fake hands, probably not going to say. Yeah, I saw this earlier. Today's Wordle was, in fact. Sorry, spoiler alert, spoiler. UM fan here. That's Miami or Michigan? Oh, Miami. And as a member of the grand jury, I certainly don't appreciate all the Indiana talk. Love what you do, but I think green and orange hoodie would look great on camera. I have a green hoodie, and I have an orange t-shirt. Maybe I could put them on for you. I like Miami. I toured Miami when I was looking to go to law school because we were living in Key Largo at the time, and it was just up the road. It was an easy tour. Baron, during the Riverside word salad, Erika said she doesn't access news and has people tell her what's important. Doesn't that mean her lying TP staff are feeding her cease and desist details? Well, yeah, it does. I noticed that as well. High IQ episode time. Yes, Joe. Yes. I had to recommend the Intro to Logic book to somebody on Facebook on, I can't remember. My sister sent me some thread where my show from last night was being discussed. And somebody was like, who is this Baron Coleman? I was like, buddy, do you not own Google? So I had to offer him the Logic book. Board of Peace Charter was ratified and signed in Davos yesterday. Start of the NWO, IMO. Treaty gives Trump legal global dominion indefinitely. Well, I'll have to look at that because that sounds terrifying. What do I Google here? Legal global dominion? Board of Peace Charter. I'll look it up. I'm not going to read it on the air, but I will look it up. Board of Peace Charter. Yep, full text. I got it. Oh, it's in the Times of Israel. Maybe I will pull it up. No mention of Gaza, which bolsters the Times of Israel's reporting that U.S. also envisions panel helping resolve other conflicts worldwide. Member countries must pay $1 billion for a permanent spot. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. Thank you. I'll check it out. Hit that like button, sub and share. Love the grand jury. I love the grand jury too. Probably will do a live, a member show on Tuesday or Wednesday next week. That would be my guess. I would guess Tuesday or Wednesday next week. I've already got somebody in mind. Or I may just do it myself. New here. Am I very late? Well, what time did you text? 5:06? No, I was just getting started. I was just getting warmed up. Could EK be affiliated with Epstein, DJT? Found out, tried to end the Epstein story to protect CK. CK found out, cause for divorce rumors, which caused our friends over in Philadelphia to neutralize him. Just a 2 a.m. thought this morning. Van Allen radiation belt. Are you not in the United States? It's 2 a.m. That's like in Asia right now. Or were you saying you had that thought in the middle of the night? I don't know. I don't think she's affiliated with Epstein. It's me, Erika. Give me your money. She's got enough, I promise. I promise. Are those crazy eyes? They look crazy. Baron, before your opening statement, you had one more thing you couldn't remember. I know what that was. It's that Caramel Kiss is the listener of the day. Huh. Oh, that's right. Caramel Kiss, listener of the day. Thank you, Lauren Chandler Watson. Very kind of you. Hey, Baron, is your favorite seminarian here? Oh, Anthony, you're back. My first book I got given in seminary was Thomas Merton. Oh, that's wonderful news. Please keep spreading the truth. Keep praying for me. You're such an inspiration to me. Lex orandi, lex credenti, lex vivendi. Well, thank you, sir. Thank you. I'm thankful for you. I genuinely am. You're going to bless the people. You're going to bless the people you pastor during your career. I can tell it. I can tell. If you're watching this show, you're a high IQ father. Thanks for sharing the story about your son, Baron. It made me pretty emotional. Sometimes all we need is belief. Yeah. Oh, I hope our favorite seminarian caught that story because there was a priest who was central to that story. So I hope so. I'm doing well and settling in perfectly. God willing, I shall serve the Lord and his people. Glory to Jesus Christ. Oh, you're following up from your thing just a moment ago. I noticed you're sending e-bucks. You must be European. Or you're over there for, I guess a lot of people go over there for seminary. I love your opening statements and your show. Well, thank you, Ilya. I love your comments. They're very nice. I like to give compliments when giving compliments. You give them back. Used by Department of War, high-energy lasers produce narrow light beam used on one target at a time, overwhelm target senses by emitting a glare. I did see there was a news story. Was it the Department of War on Twitter today said, oh, yeah, by the way, we do have directed energy weapons? Like, well, I thought that was a conspiracy theory. Like just a week ago, people were called nuts for believing that. Let me see if I can find that story here. That was nuts. Did it make the news? Yeah. The directed energy weapons research report, $24 billion in research for directed energy weapons this year. I swear I thought that was a conspiracy theory like a month ago. Like if you said that in 2025, people be like, oh, turn it off. He doesn't know now he's gone nuts. Now he's gone crazy talking about do. No, they're just putting it on Twitter. Hubby missing your show due to he's at store because of storm. 10 inches outside. Not so empathetic. So not empathetic. You're loved in Kettering, Ohio, former home of genius Charles Kettering. Check him out if unfamiliar. That name sounds familiar. Why does that name sound familiar? Charles Kettering. An inventor, engineer, businessman, and holder of 186 patents. The founder of Delco, head of research at General Motors. Sounds like a smart guy. I'm not gonna fight him. Marshmallow. Oh, he's dead. Never mind. I can't fight him. He died in 1958. He's in no condition to go toe to toe. Marshmallow fun. My sister will love that. I'm not buying them, but she'll love that. Yes, like and share. People like and share. How many likes do we have? I always. This is about the time I start shaming you people for coming in and watching without liking. We're only at 6,488 likes. Those are rookie numbers. Come on. There are 3 times that many people watching. Click the like button. Baron, grand jurist here since 9/25. Oh, fan since 9/25. I was going to say the grand jury wasn't available in September 25. Your opening statements, I love your sense of humor, laughter, and integrity. We also have the same taste in music. Fleetwood Mac is my fave. Praise Jesus. We're in end times we live in. Well, I hope we're, I always say I hope we're not in end times just because I'm kind of selfish and don't want to go through it. But, in the Bible, they all were kind of excited about being in the end times. So that challenges my faith. Here's a little something. Take your lovely wife out to dinner. I can't do it tonight because we have winter snow prep, but maybe next week if the power's on. Yeah, if the power's not on Sunday, I will not be on. I don't think. If the internet's up, I might be able to be on. My mother has a generator. So maybe I can take it over there and I'll just have a different background, but I can do a show from over there. EK has multiple Give, Send, Go accounts, total about $8 million. Does she really? That's a lot of money. She doesn't need it. Baron, I live in Nashville, also put 100 pounds of salt in the driveway today. What storm prep have you and the fam done to get ready? Well, I don't want to out myself, but we have food that is non-perishable. We have water. After we all bathe tonight, when the snow starts tomorrow, we will fill the bathtubs up with water to make sure we have water for flushing toilets, and we'll go through basically hurricane prep in that way. Candles, blankets, firewood, full gasoline in all cars, so that if we need to charge phones, charge any electronic devices, or warm up, we will have the ability to do that. So, just normal prep. I don't think this is the end of the world storm. I don't think. We'll hope not. You quickly become a can't miss show for me. Thank you for all you do. As a homeschooling mom, you're really helping me to think critically and prepare to teach real history to my kids. We've homeschooled 8, and it is a wonderful thing you do, Juliana. A wonderful thing you do. I highly recommend, if possible. I know some families can't do it, but don't be overwhelmed by the task. There's so many good programs out there that all you have to do is kind of turn the page. And the rest can be taken care of online. Some of them will mail you DVDs to put in dry if you still have one of those. You can download programs online. They'll send you books, all kinds of stuff. There's so many good programs. You just have to make sure they're doing their homework. You teach them to read, and then they read to learn. Please pass this along to Candace. What am I, her secretary now? Candace's office. With a storm hitting Tennessee this weekend, I'm concerned someone could try to take advantage of the chaos and cause harm and blame it on the weather. I hope she takes extra precautions and stay safe. You be safe as well. Oh, yeah, I'm just an afterthought. Oh, you too. I'm really worried about her. You too, buddy. Thank you, Cody. I don't. What would they do? Like bury her house in snow and make it look like the weather? I just don't think that's going to happen. She's secure. She's fine. She has a top-notch outfit taking care of her. I promise you. I firsthand experience. Erika gave a speech at their wedding promoting TPUSA. I've never seen anything like that before. Well, I've never seen anything like that before either. I did not at my wedding give a speech promoting my job. I didn't have a job. I was in college. Excuse me. Some of the Go Max squad, Candace, Coach, Ian, are asking about Greenland. Any thoughts? I look into Camp Century and Project Iceworm. Stay safe and warm. Yeah, I do have thoughts. I don't know precisely how to articulate them. I think there is a profit motive for certain Trump donors and supporters. I think that's part of it. I think part of it might truly be a national security play. And part of it might be a kind of a global restructuring plan. I'm not sure. I think the easiest way to take Greenland, frankly, it wouldn't be hard. And I don't know if the Donald watches Real Baron podcast, but if he does, I'll tell you how to do it. It's easy. Greenland lets you vote pretty soon after moving. They don't have any people. What's the population of Greenland right now? It's not high. Population of Greenland. 56,000 people. They're not all voters. Just move 50,000 people there and vote to become part of the United States. That's not a hard thing to do. Like, that's the easiest thing to do. No military action needed. Just show up to the polls. Take control of their little Congress or whatever they have. Propose a bill, ram it through, and in 8 years, Greenland will be the 51st state. It would not be hard. Would not be hard. Call Studio Displays. We do cool doo-doo, family-owned business, and we work with cool people. Cheers. I will. What do I need? A studio display? What do I need? I'm sure it's cool, but I don't know what I need. Candace revealed a lot to you on her show. Oh, she revealed even more off here. She can sense your authenticity, as we all can. Charlie's Angels Assemble and Go Max. Thank you, Annie Lane. I appreciate that. Yeah, we had a great conversation before and after the show, and she knows a lot. I had a conversation with somebody today who I've not talked to in a long time. He's a longtime friend. I've known him for 15 years or more, 16 years. And he called. He said, driving down the road, I turned Candace on and you're on. So I figured I'd call you. And he asked me what I thought of her. And I said, I think she is brilliant and so underestimated. He said, you know what? I feel the same thing. He goes, I hear these people saying she's stupid or dumb for believing these things or weird for what she says. He said, I truly believe she's just dropping breadcrumbs to set up down the road, because if she said everything she knows, people would really think she's nuts and then they wouldn't take her seriously. But if she can set things up and get people to do a little research and bring them up to the level she is, and then she drops bombs, now she's primed her audience. And I said, buddy, I think you've nailed it. In my conversations with her, I think you've nailed it. I absolutely think that's the case. Erika applied for a job she didn't need because she had a lot of other stuff. Then dropped everything at short notice to go to Hawaii and travel all over with Charlie. Landed the ultimate acting job, boop to Tilly. Man, I bought Tilly a bunch of new dog treats. And there's this one treat she can't get enough of. It's this chicken jerky. I pull the bag out and she starts going crazy. And I smelled it. It smells terrible. I'll be honest, it smells terrible, but she seems to love it. Oh, she stays warm if we lose power. B, I was a local Turning Point leader in my small community and was sad when it flopped. This OS opening statement just blew my mind. Talk about a light bulb moment, explaining a change my subconscious knew but couldn't quite spot. Wow, excellent. Yeah, that's an opening I've been wanting to give for a while. I just needed to find the place I needed to take the time to research it. I knew it was going to be time consuming to put together. And today I had the time. And I needed to do it on a day when I didn't have something pressing that had to be discussed that day. You know what I mean? Like it's timely. It's timely. It's evergreen. I could bring you that story anytime. Some days I think I have to do this. You know, news broke overnight. I have to talk about it. I could just spend the time all day talking, prepping that and then getting it out. So thank you for your kind words. At this point, a lot of Erika and Charlie's story seems sus. Would be simpler to list the things that are true about them and when the lie started. Your opinion. Sorry if it's old news. Dave Hodges figured this out. Articles of Organization, Limited Liability Company, GGLF 2023, LLC is CK's daughter, GG and Lori. Yeah, we talked about this. Actually, I don't know if we've talked about it on the air. I think I've mentioned it. New intimidation tactics. Florida police sent to a woman's home over an anti-Zionist Facebook comment named Rachel Pacheco, reported by Fox and CBS. Yeah, I'm aware of it. I can't cover every news story that pops up, but thank you. When and however did Charlie Kirk meet Tyler Boyer? That's a really good question. Let me see if I can find an answer to that real quick. I feel like I knew that at one time. Let me see. I feel like I knew the answer to that. According to statements from Tyler Boyer himself, the two met when Boyer was chairman of Maricopa County Republican Committee in Arizona. This was at a 2025 interview. He said this. Okay, so he was the chairman of the Maricopa County Republican Committee, according to this news article. There you go. That's your answer. The best I can come up with on short notice. For me, saying Jesus Christ is King is a choice, not just words. Reorient daily to stay facing him. Prioritize love and faith. to place my trust in him and not people or outcomes. Keep up the great work to speak the truth. Thank you. Very kind. Bill Montgomery, time traveler. I don't think Bill Montgomery's a time traveler. I don't think Bill Montgomery's. Let me say something about the time traveler. I had another friend who was doing an online, I remember Periscopes back in the day. And he claimed to be a time traveler. And everyone freaked out. But when he explained it, people were like, okay, that makes sense. And it wasn't that he was like physically going through time. It was that he could mentally associate himself with certain time periods and orient himself to what was going on the ground during that time. And it would give him the perspective he needed to talk about certain events. And that's kind of what he meant when he said he's a time traveler. I stand by eager to learn more about what Candace means when she says Charlie said he's a time traveler. And I do believe Charlie told her he's a time traveler. I'm curious what that means. We love watching your show. My 8-year-old calls you Mr. Sunshine. When I asked why, she said it's because you're always happy and laughing. Oh, thank you for spreading joy and knowledge. Well, thank you for those kind words, man. Hey, it's me, Heather. That really makes me feel good. I know a lot of people who would not describe me that way. I know a lot of people say, oh, Mr. Sunshine? Baron Coleman, Mr. Sunshine? I know it's out of focus. It's not low resolution. It's out of focus. I have a date with a friend of mine who's an audio video expert, and we're going to go through it. He wanted to do it last night. I was too tired after the show. He said, I'll stay up late with you. We'll get it fixed out. I said, I'm too tired. Let's do it tomorrow. And then today he texted me. He said, are you ready to go through the camera settings? And I was like, you know what? I can't right now. I'm still working on my opening. And I was like 3 or 4 hours into it, and I wasn't even half done. And I was like, I've got so much more to do. I'll call you if I get finished. So I promise you, we're working on it. In the meantime, if it smells like dead fish with a $100 bill, TPUSA new sponsors intro by EK all planned. I don't know what that means, but I'm thankful you sent it. Jimmy Dore and Kirk cover you and Candace, 10 out of 10. I saw that. I like Jimmy Dore. I watch Jimmy Dore a lot. It's always weird to me when somebody I normally watch. Jimmy Dore makes very accessible videos. When it's somebody I watch and then I click on it and it's me, it's always a little weird. Happens occasionally, and that happened yesterday. I was scrolling through Jimmy's videos and I was just clicking next, and then I watched one and it was me. I was like, oh, I know that guy. Isn't he handsome? Barron, please look into how elites push atheism to limit long-term thinking planning, instill nihilism and learned helplessness, which leads to complacency. That mindset helps lead to certain behaviors being normalized. I do think that's why they're pushing drugs on the population. And don't tell me they're not. I mean, the elites are pushing drugs on the population. Pharmaceutical drugs, opioids, cocaine back in the 80s, opioids starting when the war in Afghanistan kicked off, marijuana, all this push into psychedelics, I am not wild about. I don't think people should be fooling around with that kind of stuff. But yeah, I think that's part of it as well. You can't tell me as much research, go read Chaos, as much research as the United States federal government did into psychedelics in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, and all that they learned, that all of a sudden they think it's in our benefit, and that's why they're legalizing all these psychedelics. You can't tell me. I refuse to believe it. And the 999,000 from Clock Tower was in 2020, I think. I think you're right. Thank you, Sheila. You know that term, you can't turn a blank into a housewife? This is perfect example. I don't know this saying. I don't know ugly sayings, Val. My mind is pristine. Barron, don't you think it's strange that she's almost 7 years older than Charlie? Not really, but she's a big ticket purchase. So the normal, I got to be careful because I married a woman 15 months older than I am. But the normal order is for older men to marry slightly younger women, or women at least the same age. I don't know why that historically has happened, but that's kind of the normal order. It's pretty universal culturally. I thought about it because 7 years it's a pretty big difference. It's a pretty big difference. From the Grumblers, hoe into hoe. You made me say hoe. I thought you were talking about like something to prepare for the winter snow. I'll say hoe into housewife. And Barron, forget about his Grumblers. Try number 2. TPUSA paid for their wedding. That's why it was non-taxable expense. I don't give a damn. Oxymoron of a username for Dominique. I don't forget about my Grumblers. I love my Grumblers. Grumblers are amazing. You're just on a different screen. It's harder for me to find you. TPUSA paid for their wedding. Yes. That was weird. That's why it was non-taxable expense. That was weird. I guess you had to give the speech in order to say this is why we did it. Because it was about TPUSA. I do think that's weird, by the way. Stacy's the key. Who is she? This all just breaks my heart. He had no clue he was a mark. I do agree with you, Stacy's a key. I don't want to say the key. So we have definite article and indefinite article. Definite article means singular. The key. You're definitely identifying the article key. The object key. Then you have indefinite article. The indefinite article a, meaning one of many. Or potentially one of more than one. So I think she is a key, the indefinite article a. I've not yet done the deepest of dives into Stacey Sheridan. I've done a little dive. Didn't Heather Locklear play a character named Stacey Sheridan? It makes it a little confusing when you're trying to do research. Then people think you're like looking up old 80s soft porn. Link TS to AES phones video reply on your last X post. Thoughts? EK turned 35 in 2023. Anyone investigated possible ties to Kabbalah and mysticism? I've not seen anyone do to answer your last question, I've not seen anybody do a deep dive on that. I believe you that Erika Kirk turned 35 in 2023. I'm not quite sure what the connection is there. Link TS to AES phones. I don't know what that means. Video reply on your last X post. I guess I can look at my last X post and see the replies. Let's see what Barron sees. I forgot my last X post was Erika Kirk's crazy eyes. There's a lot of replies. I don't know if I'll find yours, particularly if it's about phones. I got an email address. You can email it. realbaronpodcast@gmail.com. Yeah. I got the today's Wordle. Don't be a Joe. If you know, you know. If you Joe, you know. We don't Joe, but we know. The way Bill talks about Charlie, he's so impressed with the way he could change people's minds. Weird behavior. The guy gave me weird vibes. The guy gave me the creepiest, weirdest vibes I've ever had about anybody. Not everybody. He doesn't give me Erika Kirk vibes, but it's pretty bad. If I'm being honest with you, it's pretty bad. Gosh, I got to get that picture down. Is that picture of my ex post of her, and I don't need her looking at me that way. Nobody needs to look at anybody that way. Barron, you're my channel now. Oh, thank you. Hi, IQ. Oh, and the lighting and sound is perfect. Thought you could use some positivity. Yes, and this camera will be perfect soon. I'm going to get it fixed. I promise. I just don't have time today. I didn't have time. I haven't had time this whole week. I've done like, if you count Candace on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, that's 4 days in a row I've done shows. You got to prep for them. And then Monday, I had to prep for the national championship game. I probably could have done it Monday, but I didn't. And then Sunday we did a show. So and then I think the day before that's when I got the new camera. So I just haven't had time. I'm going to have time tomorrow, provided we have electricity. If you meet a beautiful lady and she has no long-term relationship, red flag. Take note, kid. I don't know about that. I don't want to say that, but I see why you say that. EK help advance Zionist infiltration of TPUSA. Well, the timing sure happened to be the same. That's my point in the opening. The timing sure was similar. She comes along and all of a sudden they go 300%, 3X on donations, and they're already in the $20 million range. Come on. Barron, we love seeing you with Candace the other day. Thank you. Individually, you're both great, but together, you're phenomenal. Keep up the great work. By the way, How many Adidas jumpers do you own? Didn't know they came in so many colors. 12, maybe 15. I mean, I have some I don't wear on air because they're old. Like, so I have 3 that I wear like to the gym and just out kicking around town, and then I have maybe 12 or 14 that I wear on air. I love them. I love them. Even this is a very old one. This is one of my first ones I ever bought, and I love it. Big fan. Baron, you never disappoint. Well, thank you. Love to hold them. Charlie has 2 Davids. Go Max. Electric Universe. Big fan of Electric Universe. I don't disappoint you. I'm sure I've disappointed some people. Like when I told my daughter she had to come home for the snowstorm. She was not amused. She was disappointed. The more we uncover about Turning Point and Erika Kirk, the more aggravated and angrier I get. It's like how disgusted I am seeing the real Trump this term. I may need to take a break from all this. Can't be good for my soul. Well, Adriana, if it ever becomes a soul issue, please take a break. Your soul is more important than following the news. Love having you here, but I would rather have you celebrating for all of eternity with us than, for 3 hours on a Friday night. But please, while you're here, chime in. I love hearing from you. Waiting for all the TPUSA to have a Macbeth moment. Can't use Charlie's blood on their hands, and they can't unsee Charlie's blood on their hands. And they all start unraveling and turning on each other. So glad Charlie has Baron, Candace, and company in his corner. I'm not giving up on the story. Love your use of the Wayback Machine. I'm a big fan of the Wayback Machine. Students of Stability. Is that what it stood for? I'll be honest. That's not the greatest name. Thus the rebrand. Oh, I got to tell you something. Somebody showed me something today. I can't remember. I don't know if I saw this in email or on X. I can't remember. Somebody sent me this. Watch this. Turning Point USA logo. So here is their logo. You guys know what it looks like, but I'm going to show you anyway. Turning Point USA logo. You've seen this logo a million times, right? Now watch this. Devil tail. It's the same thing. It's the same logo. Turning Point USA logo, Devil Tail. Which one am I looking at? Is this the Devil Tail? Oh, no, it says Turning Point USA. Okay. Is that the Turning Point USA? No, I don't see it. I just see, there's horns. That has to be the Devil Tail. It's the same thing. That weirded me out. I died laughing. Someone said it looks like a devil tail, and I was like, does it? Yeah, it does, actually. That's kind of weird. Look up Ron Luce and Teen Mania Ministries. TPUSA is version 2.0. They've done this before. Reoccurring names, Falwell and Company, Bush Jr., political rallies, and military connections. Ron Luce and Teen Mania Memories. Teen Mania. American evangelist. Founded Teen Mania in 1986, led the organization till its bankruptcy in 2015. He's now the CEO of a new ministry called Generation Next. Huh. I'll do a little deep dive into that. That looks fun. Let me close out the devil tail. That is so funny to me. I'm never going to get over that. That is great. We're fighting darkness, but God is like, yes, we are. Yes, we are indeed. Who's the guy interviewing Bill Montgomery in that video? Looks like TPUSA's general counsel, Frank Carney, who was the guy talking in CO's termination recording. I don't know who that guy was. What, did she say Frank? Let me look him up. Oh, that does kind of look like him, actually. That does look like that same guy. That'd be weird if it was. Anyway, thank you. Thanks for pointing that out. I got another rabbit trail to run down. Lakes, Bridges, Boats podcast has great USS Liberty coverage. I'm sure it does. Candace should have Tyler Henry on her show. Do it. Look, I can't book her show like that. That's not something I can do. I can't even take notes for it. Like you guys are giving me. Hey, tell Candace I said I can't tell Candace you said that. I mean, if she catches it, if she watches the show, I don't know what she's doing on a Friday night at home. Probably preparing for Wintergeddon. But I mean, if she If she catches your message, she'll see it, but I'm not going to. Hey, Candace. Yeah, it's B. Listen, you got to book a guy named Tyler Henry. Someone named Val said it. Who's Tyler Henry? I don't know. No, not Derrick Henry, not the former running back for the Tennessee Titans. No. Tyler Henry. I don't know who he is either, but Val says you got to book him. I don't think it works. My name's Mike D, and I get respect. Your cash jewelry is what I expect. I thought the same thing when I saw Mike Diamond. I can assure you it's not the same guy. Not Mike D from the Beastie Boys, but I did think it. EK waited an hour. Timing is everything. Yes, I agree with you. It was weird. Why did the video of Montgomery look AI generated? His head looked placed on someone else's body. The outline of the head didn't sit well. If so, they were doing AI, back in 2019 because that's when that video got posted. But I mean, I guess they could have been. Apparently, the FBI confiscated hospital camera footage that day. Did we ever figure out why? What would he have seen? AKEK. Andrew Kolvet, Erika Kirk. Yeah, I don't know that we ever found out why they did. That's been the rumor. I didn't talk to the FBI, obviously. Mike Diamond's a motivational speaker. Twice? Love your show. I don't think it's the same guy. The Mike Diamond I found that I'm pretty confident is that same kid because it's him. I don't know that he's a motivational speaker. I think he is. I'm not going to say what I think he is, but I don't think. No, I don't think that. I think it's a different guy. But I think there's an Easter egg there on Mike Diamond. I'm hoping the right person will have seen tonight's show and be able to illuminate that a little bit for me, because there is a little Easter egg on that name. Have you ever watched Monkey Works? I think you'd like the Skyglass software he uses to track flights. I've actually looked into the Skyglass software. I've heard of Monkey Works. I'm familiar with his game. I've not watched Monkey Works. I probably should. Can it be verified that EK was on the plane and not already in Utah? Should be video over inside the terminal for 1 hour. Well, I thought that myself. I have thought that. I wondered if she was actually on the ground already. But I don't know how to verify that. I mean, somebody would have to have video footage from inside that, FBO or on the tarmac or whatever, and I just don't know that we'll find that. But I've wondered because let me go back to this. Well, this is my open, but the notes are here at the bottom of it. Let me show you this again. That's kind of why I raised this issue of who was on this plane. This plane right here. That I don't know who it was. It may be very easy. We may know. But I've wondered that. Is it possible she was already on the ground and did not arrive on this plane right here at 3:31? You're slick, Lee. You're slick because that has not gotten past me. Well, in fairness, we all typically wait at least 20 seconds for you to actually pull up the clip you have for us to watch while you were there watching it. It's been known to happen. It's happened. It's happened before. It'll probably happen again. Mike Diamond is a senior at Buffalo Grove High School, decided to start the student activist group SOS Liberty with Charlie Kirk as a way to make their views known. Are you just cutting out a sentence that I read on there? Because I don't think I'm having deja vu, am I? Like I read that sentence on air, didn't I? I think I did. But if so, yes, that was in the article I pulled up. That is true. That is absolutely the case. Baron, you know what those planes cost? She was making sure she got her money's worth after paying for the full hour. No, that's what guys do when they go to the Las Vegas brothels. They make sure they get their money's worth if they pay for the whole hour. I don't think that's how planes work. Once you're on the ground, you get off the plane. I mean, usually, typically. Unless you're doing something on the plane. Possible link with TPU and TXNB flights after BB. Defoe met with Texas EDU Commissioner Matt Morath, Lieutenant Governor, and Governor Abbott November 3 and December 8. Easy 20-minute helicopter from New Braunfels to Austin to avoid traffic and stay low-key. Okay. I'm willing. I'm not going to fight you on that. The video where the woman asks if that girl was possibly helping Tyler Robinson, someone in the Lyman family posted, ever considered maybe the prosecutor's daughter. No, I've not considered that. But I don't think so. I don't think so. But yeah, that's something that just disappeared. We need to get that on the timeline. A link to that video. I don't want to tell Daisy to do it. I'll do it myself. Daisy's helping me put the timeline together. I don't want to tell her to do it. But yeah, I need to get that on the timeline. I need to make a note of that. Put link to woman video sept 10 on timeline. Woman help video. If I just say woman video, then it'd be something weird on the timeline. We don't want that. It's just woman help video. I think Andrew was tasked to keep Candace in check because they knew she was going to be a problem. I like that take, Andrea. I had not considered that, but I like that take. He was trying to scare her into silence, saying it was supposed to be her, and she was on a list. Andrea, I really like this take. Hey, if there's anybody who's going to become a problem in this, it's Candace Owens. You need to get her under control. Scare her to death. Tell her she's next. Tell her too. I like that take. I'll say it again. High level government involved here. Yeah, I'm with you, itty bitty girl. Baron, we are. You're the best girl, but we are. I'll just correct it for you on the fly. It's probably a typo. We are so excited for your success. Well, thank you, the best girl. You are the best girl after saying that. You have me and my 14-year-old daughter belly laughing daily. Stay intense and stay learning. We are so along for this ride. Go Max, Christ is King. Christ is King indeed. I was just kidding about the typo. I know how hard it is to type a super chat. For whatever reason, it is nearly impossible on a phone to get a super chat grammatically correct. I have a terrible time with it. I sent one to Coach Colin this morning, and it took me like 20 minutes to get it up. I was trying to go doodle, 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 whoop, whoop, clap, clap. That's hard to spell on a super chat. That's hard to spell. Need my own nonprofit. Give me some of that private jet and government money. Jeez. Yeah, you telling me roll that beautiful bean footage. This is a good question. How did Tyler Robinson get involved? Is he guilty or what's the deal with this kid? I've asked this a lot, Val, or I've addressed this a lot. My best guess is that he or his roommate, I'm not even going to call him a furry because I have no evidence he's a furry. He or his roommate were into some weird stuff online and then got blackmailed or whatever the right word is into cooperating. That's my guess. Unwilling Patsy, hey, you don't want to go to prison for all this stuff y'all were doing online, so why don't you just drop your granddaddy's gun off here and we'll call it even. That's my guess. I don't know, honestly. I don't know. Baron, stay safe during snow ice storm. What are your thoughts on geoengineering and how it relates to weather modification? Harp, seems as if these subjects are going from conspiracy to mainstream. Yeah, like the directed energy weapon was a conspiracy just last month. I think HARP plays a role, believe it or not. I am one of those people that when you heat up the atmosphere or you go messing with the atmosphere, you change the electrical dynamics over that area. And if you have a massive station that can send electrical signals into the upper levels of the atmosphere and then project it over a certain area, you have the potential to cause real problems. You know, a lot of times, and it's becoming less controversial because it's happening over and over. Now that we're able to track the sun's activity really well, You see, when the Earth gets bombarded with plasma ejections from the sun, you see in the days that follow earthquakes. Well, if we're able to produce a similar effect using HARP or some sort of other system, why would we not see the same effects? So I tend to think you're onto something. I don't know. Obviously, I haven't spent thousands of hours researching it, but I'm close. I'm an ICU nurse, so I always miss you, but not today. I love your shows. If you were one of my teachers in school, I would probably have ended up with a handler. You don't want a handler. Nobody wants a handler. Nobody wants a handler. Love your channel. Oh, and thank you. That's a very generous donation, Rosie. Keep those people alive, would you? ICU people, keep them alive. Hey, Rosie, real quickly. Have you ever seen any of the studies that talk about mega dosing vitamin C for people that are in ICU and just the miraculous turnarounds they have? These studies exist. They're on PubMed. 20,000, 50,000 milligrams of vitamin C IV. It's miraculous. Like truly miraculous what happens. I'm curious if you've encountered any of that at your place or what they would think of that. Love your channel. You're now in my top 5. I love her. I love when you get tickled with yourself. It reminds me of Tucker. Yeah, but Tucker has this. I like Tucker's laugh, but I mean, it's particularly after some of the things he says. I'm like, Tucker, you okay, bud? Like he'll say the most depraved thing and be like, I'm like, whoa, dial it back there, diabolical buddy. So I worry about old Tucker. I worry about old Tucker, man. Sometimes he laughs at inopportune times. I try to laugh at appropriate times. I don't laugh at appropriate. I just cackle. I just crack myself up. I can't help it. Thank you for the compliment. Has any more discussed the sound heard during the Big Bang? That was not the sound from an unsuppressed 30.6. I agree. No, I've not heard a ton of discussion about it. Baron, please check out Heliosorcery and the Principle. I know you'll love them. Electric Gravity and Geospectrum are 100% compatible. Huge fan of Aussie Wall Thornhill here. Yeah, Wall's great, by the way. You know, when I started getting into the electric universe theory, I consumed every podcast on Spotify that would come up when you search the name Wall or Walter Thornhill. All of them. No kidding. Dozens of hours of podcasts I sat and listened to over the course of a few weeks. It was so informative. So informative. He was a smart guy. Thank you. Well, I thought I said free mint. I was like, I don't know about that. I watched Coach Colin. Michael Benjamin Diamond acted as a sniper on a Fox TV show called Prison Break. He also played other roles such as FBI agent, cop, and more. Is it the same? I've got his thing pulled up here. Let me look. Is it the same guy? No, I closed it out, but I can pull it back up real fast. I know where my notes are. I'll do it later. I don't want to waste your time me Googling around. That's interesting. Is this the same guy? Not all Joes are low IQ. I'm a high IQ actuary. Love your presentations. Jojo Nana 10. Actuaries, as important as they are, not the most exciting people I've ever run across. Not the most exciting people I've ever run across. From the Grumblers, like Theo and Tucker, we are all floating on this rock to rhythm with that tism. As Theo says, all you can do is pray for us Tylenol kids. Rock to rhythm with that tism. Yeah, I tell you what, I like Theo Vaughn a lot. I don't agree with everything he says. He probably wouldn't agree with everything I say. But I sure do like him a lot. Baron, please correct me if I'm wrong. EK name drops TP at wedding reception and are able to write off wedding fees. I'm not a tax pro or nonprofit expert by any means, obviously. I don't know, man. They've done so much. I don't think you're supposed to be flying around on Gulfstreams to lunch either. But, you know, they supposedly get audited or efforted. Candace pulled to PragerU at the same time. Math works. And Charlie isn't rich. Then they met. Blows the ugly doesn't matter when rich thing. That's a good point. Yeah, he wasn't, I don't think he was rich when he met Erika. Unless she knew he was going to be. Unless they knew it was going to be. Not a bad pick at all. Wearing that hoodie, but that forehead vein is angry. Yeah, I don't have it tonight. It comes and goes. It's the left one over here. It comes and goes, and I don't know what brings it out, Justin. But was it there the whole show? I didn't even notice. I didn't want to watch the whole thing. That's a little weird. I did notice it when I pulled it up. I think this was a setup with Erika meeting Charlie. She could have been his handler, especially with Erika starting her spot lot tours 2 days after the Big Bang. Hey, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. If not a handler, then I don't want to say honeypot. That's a weird thing to say, but if not I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility. I'm not saying it happened. I'm not saying I know for a fact. I'm not reporting it as news. It sounds okay to me. Like it sounds about right. Getting here late. You may say this by the time the message comes through. Bill Montgomery also died of COVID complications July 2020. Charlie proposed December 2020. Wonder what Bill thought of Erika. Ooh, that's interesting. You know, that's when they were talking about they had a viral delivery device where they could spray nanoparticles on you, and the nanoparticles would seep into your skin and infect you. Can I find that real quick? This is where I need somebody to, hey, look that up. Nanoparticles, virus, delivery. Is they gonna find that real quick? Nah, I'm not gonna be able to find it. No, this is all talking about drug delivery. But I saw an article about that time, and I thought, man, it makes sense because all these radio hosts who were so against, like Phil Valentine here in Nashville, all these local radio hosts who were so against the COVID protocols all seem to get massive doses of COVID and just get crushed. And then people who were just out living in the community, they didn't. I mean, like the talk radio host deaths compared to the general population is like this. I mean, it's just unbelievably. Seemed like one of the more dangerous jobs in America there for a little while. Please help get your wife ready for Snowmageddon. I'm going to. I told her, it's right at 2 hours. I told her I'd try to keep it to 2 hours. I'll keep it to 3. I'll keep it to 3, honey. I'm coming. I promise. I'll move a little quicker. Stormageddon prep. Thank you. Thank you. Just common sensing it. We will. We don't deal with a lot of Snowmageddon in the South, so you got to go out and buy new stuff. Let's keep this a high IQ outfit by proofreading our comments before hitting send. Barron deserves better. Thank you, Ryan. I didn't want to be the one to say it, but Barron, don't ever forget EK's eyes smacking the side of her head. Did you happen to look at Kennecott Liberty University Joe White yet? I did look at Kennecott today for the first time. I looked at it, started the process. Actually started a podcast from several months ago because I thought it might give a little better perspective than a Sean Ryan broadcast, frankly. I mean, after the butcher job he did with Brian Harpole, I kind of lost faith in him. And I hate saying that. Like, I want to. He's a local guy. He moved here. I want to go back to where I thought he was a great podcaster, but man, he did such a lousy job on that one show. Maybe I shouldn't hold that against him. Just one day. I always tell people I don't want to be judged by my worst, activities. Barron, love what you do. Watch Kelly Rabin's I've Had It. She calls out what Jason Goodman did to cause Blake to leave. Be careful with Jason Goodman. He has a history of turning people who work with him. I like Jason Goodman. I know I saw the whole Blake spat. I've had several people ask me privately what I thought of it. And I thought, well, I'm sure Blake doesn't want to be judged by his lowest moments. They seemed like they were all 10 plus years ago. I don't know. I'm not going to get into it. I sure am going to watch some Jason Goodman content. And if Blake comes back, I'll watch some Blake content. How about that? Let me get this straight. Erika left the airport to see deceased husband approximately 4:40. 20-minute commute to the hospital, 20-minute commute back to the airport. She was there for 1 hour max, then in the air. No, I don't think she left on that plane. I think that plane went to pick up, if I had to guess, I think that plane went to pick up Rob McCoy. Barron, please buy your great mods. A cup of Joe. Not Joe, but Joe. I was going to buy you a Mendoza jersey, but 100 plus, nay. Here's a good start. Love you, brother. Crisis King. Thank you, Ivan is Ivan. I appreciate that. I'll do something nice for the mods. I know they're doing yeoman's work out there. Baron, I'm a college student. My family loves your show. I put together a short edit of your funniest moments and sent it to your email today. Thought you might enjoy it. I will check that out, Rebecca. Thank you. That kind of stuff makes me laugh. I will check it out. I am going to have to move a little quicker, guys. So if I skip some of these, I make the same commitment. I always go back and read them. I have in my studio account, they all pop up, and I go back and read all the ones I missed. So I'm not skipping, and I read a lot of them as I go, even if I don't show them. But I did promise I would be quick tonight. Hey, Baron, remember the family member with blacked out face? She said he was talented, referring to Lance. Said it past tense. Family would never speak past tense about a living family member. It's an incredible screw up. I don't know how close she was to the family. Barron is the New York Times. I was teasing about Wordle. Okay, you had me scared to death, to be honest with you. I have a good friend that works at the New York Times. I was going to have to call him. Hey, can you take that article down? I don't even know what it says, but can you take it down? Love Merton. Looking forward to your future book list club. Thank you for your sister putting it all together. Crisis King indeed, Tamra. And I'm going to put a book list together. I think it's a great idea. Just a list. Tried finding you on Venmo again. No matches. All right, how about this? I will show you my Venmo if you want to see it. There it is. Baron-Coleman. Let me look at what the picture is. Maybe that'll help you. I'm not giving you my last four to confirm, though. I'm not giving you my last four. I'll show it one more time while I look up my Venmo. It is a picture of, where's me? Oh, it's the show logo. It's the little circle with the blue and white circle and square. You'll see it. You'll see it. It's there. Baron, I laughed so hard last night. I almost peed my pants. Well, Kelly, don't do that. Your demonic impersonation was priceless. Time to hunker down. I'm in Atlanta. Here we go. Stay gold. Are you guys going to get crushed as well? I thought it was a little north of you guys, but if Atlanta gets hit, you guys are toast. Yeah, I heard Jimmy would love to have me on a show, but I don't know how to get in touch with him. And I'm not going to call and beg to be on someone's show. I would love to be on a show. I would beg to be on Jimmy Dore, but I'm not going to beg. Jimmy, please. Man, my cough is bad tonight. You deserve better is a great merchandise quote. Speaks volumes. Yes. And it's true. Saw an interview of Charlie Kirk's high school classmates. Guy said Charlie blamed DEI, affirmative action, for him getting turned down by his college of choice, West Point. He didn't think there was another reason. Maybe decline coordinated as path was already set. Oh, now that's interesting. If we let him into West Point, we know he'll take it. Therefore, decline it and send Bill Montgomery out to get him before he goes to Baylor. Interesting. I would love to know how that conversation unfolded. It cannot have been as simple as, you can't go to college. Let's start a student organization, travel the country together. Because if some 62-year-old man came up to 18-year-old Baron and said that, I'd be like, what, bro? The similarities between the two maps from yesterday episode kept me up last night. Yeah, me too. That didn't keep me up. I slept like a baby. But it certainly made me wonder what was going on. I will show this because it's complimentary. For the record, there was no noticeable pot belly at all. You looked very fit. Well, thank you, Diane Mooneyham. Thank you. I do my best. I didn't go to the gym today, though, because I was doing an early show, so I needed the extra time to prep. I say I'll go in the morning, but I think we're supposed to be snowed in. I'll do a workout at home. Don't forget to drip all your sinks, both hot and cold, to keep your pipes from freezing. I've never had an issue with freezing pipes. Of course, as soon as I say that, everything will explode. Father's most important duty is to keep his daughters virtuous. Also, behind a wild and crazy-eyed woman is a weak father. Who is Erika Kirk's father? Mr. Frantzve? I'm not blaming him. No, Joe's busy. She's neck deep in auditing logic classes at the local college. Just wanted you to know, I see your patience. You're getting the same chats over and over about certain things, like when all 5 kids asked me what's for dinner. Thank you. My 5-year-old's favorite question, Dad, what can I eat? Brother, you know what we got. There's cooked food on the counter. You know what snacks you can have? I mean, like, why are you asking me? And you know why he asks? Because he doesn't want to eat any of that. He wants to eat, like, sweet yogurt or something. From CBS, Florida police sent to, yeah. I saw that. Rachel Pacheco. Yeah. Saw it. Got it. The Cattleman's Ball. I think it was Cattle Baron's Ball. No relation. Held just outside of Lincoln, Nebraska. I went to school with the wife who hosted the event 2020ish, their first year. I believe within a year, the husband took his life. Well, that took a turn. I wasn't expecting that hard right there at the end. Wow. Boyer got involved in TPUSA in 2015, at which point he already knew Erika. He was responsible for the relocation to Arizona, brought Erika into the fold. Been busy getting in my reps, but I'm getting back to the project I told you about. I need more on Flood and Cutler, though. Yeah, Bays, I'll give you the advice I checked. I'll give you the advice I give everybody. Fire up the microphones and just start producing content. Like, just get it out. Get used to being behind a microphone to where you don't even notice it's there. You're just talking to the camera. You'll feel better in no time. I can't wait. The stuff I've watched of you, I've really liked. I will say this, though. If you have a terrible cough, get you some of these, because this is what I'm going to get afterwards. This is not a product placement or endorsement. But I can't wait to get one of these delicious honey drops, lemon flavored with bee propolis, because my cough is miserable tonight. I'm only doing this because I love the movie Grease so much. Get Trump's filthy paws off my Greenland silky draws. I love that movie. I watched it with my 17-year-old son not terribly long ago, and I think he was kind. He was like, "Yeah, I enjoyed it. I love it. My sister's favorite movie. She can do every single word." Congratulations on winning the Natty. Oh man, it just never gets old. Just never gets old. I love my dogs. We're pulling for Indiana. I just wanted to tell you that you're a breath of fresh air. Well, thank you. Your comment was a breath of fresh air. I'm not going to run a car in a closed garage. I'm not going to do candles in a small room. But I'm glad you're telling other people that. No, we have cars outside. We would get in and stay warm. I'm located in New Hampshire, looking at getting 26 inches of snow. I'll take it. The ice is so much worse. Oh, and I pulled a Baron on my video today, watching a video silently on my own. Well, Rogue Dissident, it happens to the best of us. Yeah, we originally were supposed to get like 20-something inches in Nashville, and then they kept moving the models north, which just dragged the ice onto us, which is actually makes me like they got us now just at a few inches. But it's the ice I'm scared of. They've got us like getting a solid inch of ice. That'll knock the power out in no time. TPUSA mirrors corrupt modern Christianity, centralized power, image control, donor appeasement, enforced conformity in Jesus' name while avoiding repentance and truth. Like Saul's court, it protects the throne, not God. Reese Irish. I mean, that's a pretty big indictment, modern Christianity. But, if you cleaned up that, I might not disagree too much with that comment. Modern, that's such a broad brush to paint with. I can't allow that. Thank you for the generous donation, though. Shawnee, thank you so much. Always so kind. Bill and Rebecca Dunn were the first big donors to TPUSA in 2019. Wonder if they had any staffing or strategy changes they required for their investment. That's interesting. What's old Bill Dunn do for a living? He a home builder or something? The Reason Foundation. Is that him? Former chairman of the Reason Foundation? Oh, reason.org. Is that him? The Dunn Foundation. Yeah, how about that? A giant in the liberty movement. I wonder if he was frustrated with the because his stuff seems to be more libertarian, similar to Charlie Kirk's. I wonder if he was frustrated with the direction Turning Point took after his first big donation. The Mr. Sunshine comment got me. Perfect name. Smart kid. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate your confidence in your humble host. I didn't know you and your wife homeschooled. Yeah, we're here all day. Would you share a few sentences about that? Maybe sprinkle tidbits in about it more often? Yeah, my wife is an absolute gem. The kids do their work usually in the morning, sometimes in the afternoons and evenings. They're still working on it. I think it's interesting because to me, an education is so much. Here's my few sentences. To me, an education is so much more than just the actual book learning. It's how do you talk to an adult? My kids are around people of all different ages during the day. They interact with adults of all different stripes. They go to the store. They go to church. They go to they just go different places. They go to field trips. So they're not just like around fifth graders all. Like a fifth grader's not around. Most fifth graders are around fifth graders all day. The other thing too is though, they get our values. Like we get to pick the curriculum. We get to talk to them. They overhear us having adult conversations during the day. Now they also hear me say, "Hush, I'm on a call. I can't, hold it down." They get to hear all that too. So it's not all like perfect every step of the way, but it is so vastly preferable to and if it can be done, I highly recommend it. Highly recommend it. Highly recommend it. Time travel is more likely not of God, but evil. I think it depends on the type of time travel. I've talked about this. Someone who's viewing dead people or viewing the past on behalf of dead people, I think that's evil. I think that's evil. And I don't know. This is funny. For all the people complaining, what camera settings do you use for your podcast? Don't be mean, Rosie. Don't be mean. Baron, super chat you like 4 times, never get a shout out. Please see my above comment. Well, I wish you would have just said what your above comment was. I can't go back and search for it unless it was just right there. I am trying to hustle. I'm going past some of them. I apologize that I'm skipping a few. Really enjoy your opening monologue. Very high IQ. No worries about the production issues. Your content and character more than make up for it. Go Max. Thank you. Thank you. Very kind. Very kind. I'm a widow. I'm sorry to hear that. In between, a young widow, Luca Rowe. In between Erika Kirk and Charlie Kirk's age. They had to pry me from my hubby's body. Together 14 years. He was only 34. I couldn't imagine not going right to him. I give Erika grace, but the casket video was nuts. I'll be honest with you. The casket video was tough for me to deal with. Can you imagine grieving over your dead spouse and then saying, hold on, will you record this first? And then going, we should probably release this. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you so much for the terrific information and the wonderful humor. By the way, Erika reminds me of Tammy Faye Baker. I hear that a lot. According to your timeline, Erika left airport approximately 4:50, 20-minute commute to hospital, 20-minute commute back to the airport. She was only with you. I think I read that one already, didn't I? Oh, that was the one who told me to read your comment. I did read your comment. That may be why you keep sending the super chats, because I hadn't gotten to it yet. No, I said I don't think Erika was on the flight that went to Camarillo, Texas, or California. So, watching from Australia, I told you I only know one. Knife is a knife. It's the only Australian words I know. It's like I only speak a little bit of Spanish. I only know a few Latin words. I only know a few Australian words. Not a knife. Is a knife. My highlight of the day are your opening statements to the show. Thank you. I hear that a lot. Not that this people's highlight of the day. This is the highlight of the show. Barron, born and raised in Riverside, California. Every time I see Riverside in the news lately, it's child related. I was also placed in the GATE program from 1st to 8th grade. Are you psychic? Answer the question we all want to know, Allie. Are you a psychic? No, I kid. I didn't know Riverside had so many child related issues. UT Graham Shar. Thank you for that very kind donation. But In our office, we all say, hold please, in honor of you before we answer the phone. Your wife and family are so blessed to have such a stellar example of being a truth hunter. Keep going, Max. Be safe and enjoy the show. Thank you. Very kind words. And I'm glad your office sounds like a fun place to work. I'm in Dixon, Tennessee, watching you and Ryan, y'all. Ryan Hall. It's Ryan Hall, y'all. Are you guys related? You sound so much like. I am not aware at all that I'm related to Ryan Hall, y'all, but I do like Ryan Hall, y'all. And Dixon, yeah, it's probably an hour away from me. So you're close. You'll get the snow, I think, before I will, because I'm east of you. But my wife was just in Dixon the other day, like this week, I think. She had to drop one of my kids off over there. Quest for America's Beauty. That's a big quest. Weird. Bill is typically evangelical, creepy in my experience. I don't call him a typical evangelical. That's a little harsh. That's a little harsh. Yeah, I've had this same question. I almost raised this in my opening today, but I couldn't find a satisfactory answer, so I didn't. Wolves of Finance got a cease and desist letter from an attorney in Indiana. TPUSA filed for new trademarks using an attorney in Indiana. Why Indiana? The best I could come up with. When TPUSA was founded as a nonprofit, it was, I believe, headquartered in the Chicagoland area on the Illinois side. A few years later, they switched and were using an office on the Indiana side, and I'm not sure why, but it looked like it was just being like a registered agent's office, maybe out of an attorney's office. And so I started thinking, well, maybe they just started filing in Indiana because that's where maybe the accountant or the attorney they were using was located. And I mean, that's the best I could come up with. And then as they grew up, they thought, well, all our paperwork's already in Indiana, so we might as well just keep it there. And so now they're using some big firm out of Indianapolis. That's the only thing I could think of. But I do not have a legitimately good answer for that. I wish I did. Oh, this is interesting. Nick Shirley told PBD he was the last to interview with Charlie in Utah, then flew to New York the same day. Thoughts? Don't think it was ever posted. I have no thoughts. I thought he was on the, I didn't know he interviewed with Charlie. I thought he was on the Charlie Kirk show that day, but I think Charlie was in Salt Lake. Next News Network, Gary Franke interviewed Bill. Oh, not Frank Carney. Is that what you're saying? It's not Frank Carney. It's a guy named Gary Franke. I'll allow it. High IQ alert. Baron Joe rant. Candace Owen midget rant. Network movie rant. 3 best in human history. Oh, the network rant is phenomenal. Pup on the left. Bama recommends dehydrated chicken hearts to Tilly. I got her some beef long. She seemed to take to that. Dehydrated beef long. I mean, I got to do something with the beef long. Might as well feed it to the hounds. Otherwise, you're just chunking it out. Thank you, Marnie. Very nice of you. You have to do the Blake Neff. That'll cheer me up. You talking about when Blake Neff? Then I turned and I had to. Blake was doing his best Bruce Lee. He was that fast. Mike Diamond's YouTube channel is Diamond Ruff 23. His real name is Mike Diamond. Name changed to Diamond for reasons. Also found his acting race. He plays a sniper. Is this the same Mike Diamond? I'm gonna take a picture of that. I'm gonna look it up after the show. Is that the same Mike Diamond? I'll look. Mike Diamond engine. Look, there's more than one Mike Diamond in the world. We've already identified the Beastie Boy. We know it's not him. It has to be the right age. He has to be from the Chicagoland area. Like we'll get there, but I watched the Y-Files Electric Universe episode. He doesn't debunk it. Instead, he argues against mainstream science. Yeah, I also watched that today, believe it or not. And he does not debunk it. Like his first 2/3 of the show is he does a pretty compelling case in favor of it. And he's like, yeah, well, these guys don't like it. So I'm like, well, they're wrong. They didn't like Copernicus saying we went around the sun either, you know? I just want you to know how you sat so still. I want to know how you sat so still. I can do lots of things. I have to. I didn't have to do any production. Like I don't have to, like I'm monitoring so many things right now as I go. And then I'm sitting in a different thing because I'm leaning towards the camera because that's engaging. And it's just difficult for me to sit still in this condition. And it was earlier. I do a later show here. I'm more hyped up on caffeine. Deborah, thank you. Yeah, I did a pretty deep dive today on Lori. It's not Cordova, it's Cordoza more. I think a lot of people identified her today, and it's pretty creepy. But I didn't want to cover it tonight. I'm not scared of it. I'll cover it another day. I'm just assuming there'll be a flood of stories about it for the next few days. Other people are going to cover it. What am I going to say that they're not going to say? So maybe I'll marinate on it, watch their shows, and say, "Oh, they missed this," or "Here's a take they didn't have," and then I'll cover it. But yeah. Organized SOS Liberty Coalition in 1985, lobbying Congress to investigate Israel's unprovoked deliberate attack on the USS Liberty. Admiral Thomas Moore and ship engineer George Golden testified at a press conference. Well, that's interesting. I don't think it was the same. Obviously, maybe they named it after your group, but I don't think so. Hey, man, Mama 4 and Cradle Catholic here. You've sparked a renewed interest in deepening my faith, and for that, I thank you. Well, thank you for sharing that with us, genuinely. I checked out the Exorcist files. Wild stuff. Rome Sweet Home arrived today. Stay warm. You are on the path. I mean, you are like hitting it. Exorcist files is wild. Those case files are nuts. And there's a lot of good explanation in there, too. So I'm getting a lot of encouragement to do a show on my theory of demonology. It is very similar to Father Carlos Martin's. And so I will. I gotta have the right time, the right moment. Hey, man, new fan here. I love your show. I'm an Eastern Orthodox Christian, and just wondering your thoughts on the Great Schism of 1054. Lord Jesus, have mercy on us sinners. I don't have strong opinions that haven't been stated for the last 1,000 years or so. A lot of the Eastern churches are coming back into the fold. I know during Benedict the 16th papacy, there were a lot of the Eastern churches that came back into communion with the Catholic Church and the Pope. Obviously we wish all churches would and all Christians would, but the issues are the issues. And I mean, we'll take full blame here. We changed the creed. Like, I'm not going to hide from that. The Catholics changed the creed. In my opinion, we changed it to more accurately reflect the theology, but you got a good case that you have the original creed. So it's hard to argue with that, right? Look, I'm not one of these people that shades everything. I'm not one of these people that shades everything in my favor. I saw that Grumble comment and pulled up that link. So thank you, and I don't give a damn. Baron. Did I answer everything? Yeah. Mega C and Benadryl for sepsis. For sepsis? I don't have sepsis. I don't have sepsis. I just got a cough. Hope I don't have sepsis. Anyone know where Valhalla VFT has been? He's been MIA for a week. Love your show. He might have the flu. Could be on vacation. I don't know. I like Valhalla. We disagree. Again, disagree on a few things here and there. I shouldn't have to say that every time. I should be able to say, look, I hate that this is the way the America works. But if I say I like Valhalla, then 10% of the people are going to be like, Valhalla, he said this one time. Okay, fine. I didn't agree with that. I shouldn't have to say every time I don't agree. I don't agree with everything anybody says. Yeah, Phil Valentine's an absolute legend. God rest his soul indeed. Thank you, Rosie. Oh, vitamin C, not really for our population. Oh, you came back. You're the nurse. We do ECMO, so they're pretty sick. Just good old adrenaline, stress dose steroids, and paralysis. By the way, I haven't been sick since before COVID. Fry from your farmers, raw milk, lots of elderberry tea, and honey. I would still give them the mega dose of vitamin C. An absolutely massive dose. I used to go to one of those infusion places. When I was on the radio, I had an infusion place that advertised with me. And one of the perks I got was a free service every week. And so every week I would go and get 20,000 milligrams of vitamin C, 20 grams of vitamin C right into the old veins. And let me tell you, I felt great. There's so much value in vitamin C. Linus Pauling was right. Michael Crichton, State of Fear, Weather Modification and Predictive Data Models to Manipulate Population and Push Agenda. Michael Crichton is pretty sharp. I like his writings and I liked his conspiratorial mind. Thank you for that generous donation, by the way. And thank you as well, Rosie, for your generous donation. You guys are awesome. A chiropractor cures your asthma? Adrian? Will you email me that chiropractor's name? I'm willing to fly. I've been dealing with this for 46 years. Did I say I came from radio? I did. Where do you think these velvety tones came from? Just, if you're not driving, close your eyes. Just listen to me and imagine hearing me through a tiny speaker in the corner of your door. Yes. I caught your podcast the other day giving an award to Erika Kirk for taking the shortest flights, both under 2 minutes. Love your show. I saw one she took from one side of Phoenix or one side of Scottsdale to the other. I thought that was I mean, was she on that flight or was that a repositioning flight? Either way, she should have driven to the plane. If it was a repositioning flight, she should have just driven to the plane. Nanoparts, DARPA, generative magnetogenetics, and generative optogenetics. I'm vaguely familiar with some of those words. Yes, I think I know what you're talking about. You're talking about the dosage of the viral particles? I think that is what you're talking about. All right, here we go. This is a good comment here. Have you considered the Sean Ryan interview of Brian Harpole the tactic to play good cop so he's comfortable and would talk instead of confrontational, causing Brian Harpole to clam up? Look at all the lies we got. I have considered whether Sean Ryan just let him go like you would do in a deposition when you know the person's lying. You're going to confront him at trial and you're going to snap him over the head. So why, if you catch, I'll give you a prime example. The very first trial I ever had, we took the lady's deposition and she claimed she'd never been in another car wreck. Yeah, I was representing some insurance company and she was suing somebody for running into her or something. And we were representing her, and I had her medical records, and I had her. I don't know why she didn't consider this, but I had her doctor's records in my hand. And I was a young puppy lawyer, 6 or 9 months. I worked at one of the small. That's the reason I went to work there. They're like, "Oh, you want to try cases? Sure, come on in. We'll let you try a case in your first year." I was like, "Okay, good." But I'm in there deposing her, and she's just lying. She's saying, "No, I've never been in a car wreck," and I'm like, "Okay." You didn't go. Have you ever been to the hospital before for your back? No. You never had any back surgeries or been to the chiropractor? No. And I'm sitting there looking at all these records. So you just let her go for a little while. 6 months, 9 months later, whatever, it goes to trial. In a trial, you get to ask her the same thing. But the difference is you don't accuse her of lying in the deposition because then she corrects the record and you don't get to have the dramatic effect of trial. And when she's lying at trial, you don't confront her because then she goes, "Oh my gosh, I forgot." You let her get off the stand, walk back to the plaintiff's table, have a seat. You got it all in on cross-examination. You've never been to the doctor. You've never done that. And then you bring her medical records in and you just wallop her over the head with them. 5-minute defense verdict. Don't lie. They are asking you questions for a reason. I like this. Speaking of IV vitamin C, how many are now using it to effectively fight cancer using alternative doctors, of course? I don't know the answer to that, but I'm curious. I'm a Christian. I didn't mean all Christianity. I mean, TPUSA mirrors modern day corruption in Christian churches. Again, modern day corruption. I mean, there's been corruption in Christian churches for 2,000 years. I understand what you're saying, Reese. I'm being a little bit of a stickler here. From the Grumblers. Number 2 Cairo. No to Cairo, excuse me. Founded by spiritualists who founded chiropractic in 1895. The ghostly message to Palmer stated that in a seance, the spirit of Dr. Atkinson revealed that misaligned vertebrae PT only. What? I'm not smart enough to know what that means. No, I know what you're saying. You're saying that the chiropractic care was founded by some sort of demonic incident, and as a result, you would stay away from all chiropractic care. I've been to chiropractors. I did not feel particularly demonic, but I will consider what you've said there. I take a small spoonful of honey with the comb, and my throat feels so much better. I highly recommend. Love the show. Love you on Candace Owens. It was hilarious when Candace Owens said Philadelphia. I thought so too. That's Coach's reach right there. That's Coach's reach. All right, Stacey Sheridan, allegedly the woman sitting behind Erika Kirk in creepy limo pic with her holding that cross pendant, potentially EK's handler. I'll have to look into that. I have not heard she's the creepy limo lady. I had not heard about creepy limo lady. Jesus loves me, this I know. Baron Coleman told me so. Oh, Shawnee. Thank you. Baron, Peruvian mint or anise tea for your cough. I will start pushing for the vitamin C. May need to present some articles. There are a lot of articles, and you're going to get tremendous pushback. I mean, articles of people basically left for dead that get up and walk out. It is crazy. What happened? The theory is, Rosie, when your body's undergoing a traumatic event like that, vitamin C is part of. I'm going to screw this up. It's part of the way you process oxygen. Part of the way the cell is powered. I'm sure you know this. You're smarter than I am, and you're a medical person. I'm a country lawyer, but and broadcasting hack. But I've looked at this a lot. So when you breathe in, you take in O2. O2 is very dangerous. It's the worst possible thing you could put in your body, but for the fact that you would die. That oxygen gets into the blood. That oxygen now has to power the cell somehow. And it does it the way that oxygen powers rockets to go into the sky. It explodes, right? It combusts. O2, and then you get, I think it's OH negative, and then it turns into H2O2, and then H2O finally spits out on the other side. One of the ways that this electron cycle goes is vitamin C. And so your cells are shutting down. If you can give them a massive dose of vitamin C, it can recharge that entire energy process that feeds and powers all the cells, allowing them to fight back whatever trauma. And I'm not talking about like sepsis. I'm talking any kind of trauma, blunt force trauma. Your body just gets so zapped that this massive megadose of vitamin C, I believe it's also happened with megadoses of IV glutathione. They've also tested that. It's just a way to get electrons to get the reduction process going again. So look it up. I'm sure there's far more scientific things that I got wrong than I got right there. But trust me, the studies, the science backs it. And I would 100%, if I'm or a family member of mine is dying in the ICU, I would want this process. What's the worst that happens? It doesn't work? Okay, I'm out $100. Who cares? Who cares? It's not going to hurt anything. Forrest, former Trump vote. I'm not yelling at you, Rosie. I appreciate you. I'm not yelling at you. I'm yelling at the people who make us sick and die in the hospitals with their stupid protocols that don't fix people. And then they block protocols that might actually fix people, like megadose vitamin C, for which there is tremendous benefit and tremendous scientific studies showing the benefit. And to me, if there's any benefit at all, there's no risk. I mean, vitamin C is zero risk. You could IV vitamin C the healthiest person or the sickest person. You're not going to hurt them with it. And so if there's no risk, if there's any benefit at all, even if it's just mental benefit, it outweighs the risk. If the person actually is healed or the healing process is improved, now the risk so outweighs the benefit. I mean, the benefit so outweighs the risk. Sorry, I'm losing my mind over here on the medical profession. It's not your fault. You didn't do this. Former Trump voter, first time voting and having remorse for my vote because of the switch up we got. The cope is kind to have to feed the beast to expose it. Yeah, it's I'm willing to sit back a little longer and see what happens, but I'm getting a little frustrated myself. Like, not beyond repair yet, but getting there. Dale Fredo with Cassia. Notice Charlie Kirk usually wore a black t-shirt. The vast majority of Prove Me Wrong events. He wore a white freedom shirt on the day he died, maybe to ensure we saw the blood. Yeah. Boy, I have strong opinions on that. I think it was supposed to look like a chest shot, which would make sense with the white t-shirt. Anyone else heard cancer being parasites? I think the confusion here, I have heard this, Miss Baby. I think the confusion here, in my opinion, in my understanding of the debate, and I've not followed this closely, is that sometimes with some cancers, anti-parasitic drugs have some benefit. Some people find miraculous benefits for certain type of cancers, and they're just very lucky that their cancer responds well to it. Some people find no benefit because for whatever reason, the particular kind of cancer they have does not respond well to it. But my understanding of the mechanics behind why some people respond, why certain types of cancers and some people respond well to it is, it affects the metabolic pathway that cancer uses to feed on. The same targeted approach to killing parasites is to disrupt the metabolic pathway that they use, and that kills them. Some types of cancers in some types of people also respond well when that same metabolic pathway is disrupted. So I think that's the confusion. I've not followed that particularly closely, but I think that's it. Sent an email about Mike Diamond, graduate from Buffalo Grove High School, now sound microphone. Guys, let's not dox this part. Fair point on vitamin C and water soluble. Yes. Hello from England. Shout out to my parents, Jenny and Jeff, who put me onto you. Thank you for talking on the enormous deceit of the Charlie Kirk assassination. Love your style. Keep up the good work. Christ is king indeed. Jenny and Jeff, you're out here doing the Lord's work, I see. Yes, you will be rewarded. I'm kidding. I can't offer that kind of absolution, but thank you for putting Chris Cook onto the program. Danks is smashing TP. Where is IRS? Stay safe and warm. Love your work. Thank you. Yeah, Danks is doing great work. Now caught up with a couple more of his videos, and I like his stuff quite a bit. If you don't subscribe, you ought to check him out. Guys, I got to run. I'm going to go salt the driveway, make sure the candles are in the right place, move some cars around. We got a new couch not terribly long ago, and the city was supposed to come pick the old couch up on Monday. Obviously, that probably won't happen, but it's sitting in the garage, so I got to move the couch around and pull a car in because the city has informed us we are not allowed to have cars on the street when they do their plowing. So, and with all the kids home, I was going to have one car on the street. So we got to move some stuff around to make sure that doesn't happen. So, guys, pray for us here in Middle Tennessee, and really from a stretch from about Mexico to the Mid-Atlantic. It looks like it's going to be really bad. As you know, cold weather is far more devastatingly dangerous than hot weather. So many people die in these major cold snaps, and I pray for them. I pray for their safety and their well-being. I think it would be a horrific way to die, to freeze to death, and I hope it doesn't happen to anybody. But if it does, I hope they're right with their maker. I genuinely do. Hope the power stays on. In emergent times like this, a lot of times neighbors show up into the best versions of themselves. Neighbors helping neighbors, people helping each other, sharing food, sharing warmth, and sharing their resources. This is a serious storm coming through, and I hope everybody bunkers down, weathers down. If you're not affected by it, thank your lucky stars and pray for us who are. In the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, I will do my best to be back Sunday night. If I'm out of power, I'll try to find a house or somewhere I can set up that has power and do a show. If I can't, I just won't be with you Sunday night, and I'll be back next week sometime, hopefully. Thank you for all your support. I cannot tell you how unbelievably powerful your support is. It's been life-changing being able to do this full-time again. Broadcasting full-time was always my passion, and I got away from it for a few years, went back into the workforce as a lawyer, and now being back broadcasting, even though I'm probably working more hours now to prepare for these shows than I was as a lawyer, it's a more rewarding work, and I just thank you. You guys make it possible. Your support of independent content creators like Candace, like me, like Coach, like Ian, like all these other people. I don't want to leave them out because I'll leave all of them out. But all these people, your support makes it possible so that you have people you trust that you can listen to, so that you're not stuck listening to Ben Shapiro. You're not stuck listening to Josh Hammer. You can go to the people you trust, and you can form communities in the comment sections, and it's just beautiful. It's just beautiful. Technology's really, really made this possible. This would not have been possible 20, 30 years ago. So thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate it. And do not forget. Oh, hold on. Hold, please. I like to just right here. Don't forget. Jesus loves you.